Chapter 43-24. That was even better. After all, Lu Ming had interacted with the angels the most. If the angels came, they might be able to recognize Lu Ming. Especially Gabbert. As such, no one at the scene recognized Lu Ming. Other than the people from the top 10 races, there were also some scattered people like Lu Ming and the others. There were not many of them. This is a temporary deal. I believe that everyone has gained a lot in the Grand Supreme Immortal City during this period of time. It's good for everyone to take out what you don't need to trade. It's the best of both worlds. However, after the deal is over, I hope that no one will spread the news. After all, it won't be good for anyone if the heavenly human race knows about it. The brawny man from the metal race said. Everyone nodded and agreed. All right. Who would like to trade first? The brawny man from the metal race said. I'll go first. Immediately, a skinny man in his 30s stood up and walked to the center. His palm glowed, and a battle sword appeared. This is a weapon I obtained from the Grand Supreme Immortal City. It's extremely sharp. I'm going to trade it for 10,000 desolation pills. Which friend wants to trade it? The skinny man said. No one spoke. Many people looked at him with disdain. You're too naive to trade a weapon from the Grand Supreme Immortal City for 10,000 desolation pills. That's right. Who doesn't have a weapon from the Grand Supreme Immortal City? You're actually using a weapon from the Grand Supreme Immortal City to trade for desolation pills? That's ridiculous. You should take out some precious items to trade, such as a pill furnace, a part of a ship, or some rare metal materials. Some people in the surroundings sneered mockingly. The skinny man's face was flushed red. In the end, he did not take out anything too precious. Instead, he put away his weapon and returned to his seat. Let me do it. At that moment, a young man stepped forward. The young man had a graceful bearing. Water vapor surrounded his body at all times, making him look hazy and elegant. He's from the spirit race. It seems like he's a water spirit. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. A piece of blue metal appeared in the Spirit Clan youth's hand. This piece of blue metal was about the size of a fist. It was completely blue, as if there was water flowing around it. It gave off a special aura. This aura was very similar to the Great Desolation Chi. Everyone, this piece of metal was obtained from the Supreme Immortal City. I believe everyone knows that pill furnaces and weapons are not allowed to be taken out of the Supreme Immortal City. However, this kind of basic metal can be taken out. This material is very extraordinary. It can be used to forge some divine weapons with special effects. 60 solar years ago, many seniors brought out some of these metals and forged them into divine weapons that were famous in the primitive universe. The Spirit Tribe youth explained. Many people were tempted. The metal materials produced in the Taishang Immortal City were indeed extraordinary. They had all kinds of miraculous effects. The divine weapons refined from them were also different from the divine weapons of the desolate universe. They had special effects and were very valuable. However, this kind of metal material was extremely rare. In the Supreme Immortal City, very few people could obtain it. Who would have thought that the Spirit Clan youth would be able to obtain one? Perhaps this had something to do with his constitution. What do you want to exchange this metal for? Someone asked. Exchange for 100,000 Great Desolation pills. The Spirit Clan youth said, 100,000 Great Desolation pills? That's a lot. That's too much. 100,000 Great Desolation pills is too much. Many people shook their heads. A special metal material for 100,000 Great Desolation pills? Many people shook their heads. Lu Ming needed many more Great Desolation pills to break through to the next cultivation level. However, the others didn't need so many Great Desolation pills to break through to the next cultivation level. Many people could break through to the 6th Great Supreme God layer with 100,000 Great Desolation pills. The price was too high. It's too expensive. It's not worth it. Many people shook their heads. After a while, no one agreed to the exchange. The Spirit Clan youth looked a bit disappointed. Then, he said, if 100,000 Great Desolation pills isn't enough, then I'll exchange it for a pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters. A pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters is worth more than 100,000 Great Desolation pills. How about this? I'll give you 3 pill furnaces with a diameter of 1 meter, said a muscular demon at that moment. 3 pill furnaces with a diameter of 3 meters? That's too little. No, absolutely not. The Spirit Clan youth shook his head. 4 pill furnaces with a diameter of 1 meter at most. That's all. I don't want any more, said the muscular demon. 4 pill furnaces with a diameter of 1 meter. The Spirit Clan youth hesitated for a moment, then clenched his teeth and said, "All right, I agree." If he didn't want to stockpile more pill furnaces, he wouldn't be willing to exchange them. In the end, the muscular demon took out 4 pill furnaces and exchanged them with the Spirit Clan youth for the blue metal material. The Spirit Clan youth got what he wanted and returned to his seat. Next, someone else took out a pill furnace and wanted to exchange it for Great Desolation pills. In fact, pill furnaces were similar to Great Desolation pills. However, some people were in a hurry to break through to the next cultivation level, so they used pill furnaces to exchange for Great Desolation pills. After all, refining Great Desolation pills took time. This person was like that. Exchanging pill furnaces for Great Desolation pills was usually a loss. Naturally, someone else made the exchange and quickly completed the exchange. Should I exchange my pill furnaces for some Great Desolation pills? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He had a lot of pill furnaces, but it would take a lot of time to refine them into Great Desolation pills. If he could exchange them for Great Desolation pills, Lu Ming could quickly break through to the next cultivation level. I have 80 pill furnaces with me. I can't exchange a pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters, but a pill furnace with a diameter of 1 meter can be exchanged for 30,000 Great Desolation pills. That's not bad, Lu Ming thought. A pill furnace with a diameter of 1 meter would take more than 3 years to refine 30,000 Great Desolation pills. Exchanging 30,000 Great Desolation pills for a pill furnace was completely worth it. As long as he kept refining Great Desolation pills, he would be able to break even after 3 years. In the future, it would be a profit. Therefore, it shouldn't be difficult to exchange them. Immediately, Lu Ming stepped forward and walked to the center. Pairs of eyes looked at Lu Ming. I'll exchange a pill furnace with a diameter of 1 meter for Great Desolation pills. 1 pill furnace for 30,000 Great Desolation pills. Who wants to exchange? Lu Ming said loudly. Me. Immediately, many people started to speak. A pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters would break even in 3 years. This was referring to the outer area of the Astral Palace. In the core area of the Astral Palace, the Great Desolation Chi was denser, and the speed of refining Great Desolation pills would be faster. It wouldn't take 3 years at all. Naturally, many people wanted to exchange. Chapter 43:25. Instantly, 6 to 7 people stood up, indicating that they wanted to trade. Senior, how many do you want to trade? Lu Ming looked at an expert in the prime of his life. This person was an expert from the Battle Saint tribe. Because of the battle god Yuan Wen, Lu Ming's impression of the Battle Saint tribe was slightly better. Naturally, he was more willing to trade with them. I want 5. The expert from the Battle Saint tribe said. After that, he took out an interspatial ring and passed it to Lu Ming. With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming received the interspatial ring. With a sweep of his spiritual sense, he discovered that there were 150,000 Great Desolation pills inside. A satisfied smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. This expert from the Battle Saint tribe had a cultivation base at the 6th layer of the Divine God realm. Clearly, if he wanted to break through to the 7th layer of the Divine God realm, the number of Great Desolation pills he needed was far more than 150,000. That was why he didn't refine them yet. Most probably, he wanted to wait for more Great Desolation pills to refine them all at once. Lu Ming moved the 150,000 Great Desolation pills into his interspatial ring. After that, he took out 5 pill furnaces with a diameter of 1 meter and placed them into the interspatial ring. After that, he returned the interspatial ring to the expert from the Battle Saint tribe. The expert from the Battle Saint tribe had a satisfied expression on his face after he scanned the interspatial ring with his spiritual sense. Although he had to pay 150,000 Great Desolation pills for the time being, it was only a matter of time before he entered the core region. With the extra 5 pill furnaces, he would be able to refine 150,000 Great Desolation pills very quickly. This was a business that was sure to be profitable. "Friend, how many pill furnaces do you want to trade?" Lu Ming asked another person. 3. Next, Lu Ming took out 20 pill furnaces with a diameter of 1 meter. In total, he obtained 600,000 Great Desolation pills. At this point, Lu Ming didn't take out any more pill furnaces to trade. He only had a total of 80 pill furnaces. After trading away 20, there were still 60 left. He wanted to keep them for himself in the future. Beside him, Yi Ling was also tempted. He also wanted to take out his alchemy furnace to trade. However, he hesitated for a moment and gave up. He had the strength of the 6th Great Supreme God layer, but he was also a peerless genius. Breaking through to the next Great Supreme God layer required a terrifying amount of desolate pellets, far more than 1,000,000. Therefore, even if he took out a dozen cauldrons and obtained 1,000,000 desolate pellets, it wouldn't be enough for him to break through. It was better to keep the pill furnace and go to the core area. Next, the transactions continued. People continuously took out treasures to trade. Of course, not every transaction was successful. Some succeeded, while others failed. However, no one took out the parts of the crossing adversity airship to exchange for it. Lu Ming and Yi Ling looked at each other and decided not to wait any longer. "Everyone, I have a part of the crossing adversity airship here. It's part of the stern. I'm using it to exchange for the bow part of the crossing adversity airship. Is anyone interested?" Yi Ling stood up and said, "Components of the crossing adversity airship. The stern." Many people's eyes lit up with excitement. "I need the stern part, but I don't have the bow part. Do you want the hull part? You can exchange for it." An expert from the Blood tribe said, "We have the hull part. We don't need it. However, the sails are fine too." Yi Ling said, "I don't have the sails." The expert from the Blood tribe looked disappointed. "I do have the sails, but I also have the stern part. Do you have the deck part? You can exchange for it with me." At that moment, a strong man from the Spirit tribe stood up and said, "I have the deck part." Yi Ling's eyes lit up. They had 5 extra parts. The deck part was one of them. "All right, let's exchange." The strong man from the Spirit tribe smiled. The two of them took out their parts and exchanged for it. They were very satisfied. Lu Ming and Yi Ling also smiled with satisfaction. In this way, they had gathered 8 parts. They were only missing the bow part. As long as they could find the bow, they could form a complete crossing adversity airship. They could cross the adversity-avoiding ocean and head to the core area. "Everyone, who has the bow part? I can exchange it for the other parts." Yi Ling continued. However, no one spoke. No one responded. After a while, someone said, "I also lack the bow part. If anyone has more, I can buy it with desolation pills." "You also lack the bow part." "I don't have the bow part either." "I don't have it either." Many people shook their heads. This made the faces of Lu Ming, Yi Ling, and the others present sink. Why were there so many people lacking the bow part? "I want to know, who among the people here has the position of the bow of the ship?" Yi Ling asked. "I don't have it." "I don't have it either." Almost everyone shook their heads. This caused everyone's expressions to turn somewhat ugly. What was going on? No one had a seat at the head of the ship? Something's not right. Logically speaking, there are so many people here, and more than one immortal abode has been explored. They should definitely have the bow part. But now no one has it? Someone spoke. "Everyone, if anyone has the bow part, why don't you exchange it for it? There's no point in keeping it." Someone else said. Still, no one spoke. "It's not necessarily useless to keep it. If we monopolize the bow part, then the others won't be able to go to the core area. That way, the competition will be greatly reduced." Someone said coldly. This made many people's faces freeze. Lu Ming and Yi Ling were the same. Indeed. If someone controlled a large number of bow parts and did not exchange it, then the others would not be able to gather enough crossing adversity airships to go to the core area. That way, the competition in the core area would be greatly reduced. It would also make it difficult for some geniuses to obtain enough desolation pills to break through to the next realm. It would reduce the pressure of competing for the origin seed. Many people had thought of this. Everyone who has a large number of bow parts. Say it. If you're discovered later, you'll be in trouble, someone said coldly. The threat was obvious. The meaning was obvious. If someone hid a large number of bow parts and did not exchange it, and was discovered later, they would be targeted and even killed by everyone. But still, no one spoke. I don't think anyone at the scene has the position of the bow of the ship. At this time, Lu Ming spoke, attracting the attention of others. If no one here has the bow part, then tell me, who has it? Someone must have the bow part. According to the records, the parts of every immortal abode can be gathered. There are so many of us, it's impossible that we can't gather them. Someone retorted. Who do you think, or what faction, has the power to sweep through so many immortal abodes and obtain a large number of bow parts? Lu Ming asked. This, almost everyone's eyes narrowed. They all thought of a faction, or rather, a race. The heavenly human race. Chapter 43:26. Celestial Race. Everyone thought of a name, and that was the celestial race. Only the celestial race had the ability to do this. Most people's expressions turned ugly. If it was really the celestial race, then it would be troublesome. The celestial race controlled the bow of the ship. If they didn't hand it over and didn't let others enter the core area to reduce the competition, what could they do? Did they dare to find trouble with the celestial race? Did they dare to ask the celestial race for it? Who dared to offend the celestial race? Everyone, I think you've already thought of it. The one controlling the bow of the ship is most likely the celestial race. Lu Ming said again. So what if we know? Do we dare to find trouble with the celestial race? Someone asked with a bitter expression. Why not? Lu Ming said coldly. Everyone was shocked and looked at Lu Ming in shock. Lu Ming was so bold to find trouble with the celestial race. Was he not afraid of death? Most of you here are from the top 10 races. Even if you're not, you're from other powerful races. Are you so cowardly? Lu Ming sneered, revealing a contemptuous expression. Everyone's expressions turned even uglier, but the celestial race's power was too strong. Everyone entered the Taishang Immortal City to obtain opportunities and obtain stronger cultivation to surpass others and enter a higher realm in the future. However, if you're blocked outside the core area, your progress will be very limited. As for fighting for the origin seed in a few decades, don't even think about it. Giving up on entering the core area means giving up on the opportunity in the Taishang Immortal City. Are you willing to do that? Lu Ming asked again. Many people's eyes flickered with reluctance. Everyone present, especially some young people and even peerless geniuses on the Universe Prodigy list, were all arrogant people. If they gave up on the opportunity in the Taishang Immortal City, the gap between them and others would become bigger and bigger. How could they be willing to do that? However, the other party was the celestial race. You mean, we should join forces and ask the celestial race for the bow of the ship? However, right now, this is still just a guess. We haven't confirmed that the celestial race is in control of the bow of the ship. Perhaps it's someone else? If it's not the heavenly human tribe, it's not worth it to offend the heavenly human tribe rashly. Someone spoke up cautiously. The others nodded in agreement. That's simple. We'll know who's controlling the bow once we try. Lu Ming said. Many people asked in unison. It's very simple. The goal of the person controlling the bow is to prevent others from forming the adversity crossing airship and entering the core area to reduce competition. However, at this time, if someone stands out and says that he has many seats at the bow and is willing to exchange them for other treasures, what do you think the person controlling the bow will do? Lu Ming said. He will definitely fly into a rage out of humiliation. After being reminded by Lu Ming, many people immediately thought of this. That's right. He will fly into a rage out of humiliation. He might even kill and seize the bow of the ship to continue monopolizing it. As long as someone releases the news that there's a transaction at a certain place, the person who really controls the bow of the ship will definitely go over and appear. At that time, it will naturally be clear whether the celestial race is the one who monopolizes it or not. Lu Ming said, "That's right. This plan is indeed feasible." Many people nodded. The plan is feasible, but who will release the news? The person who releases the news will definitely be targeted by the celestial race. Someone spoke, and the scene fell silent again. The person who released the news was equivalent to bait. He would be targeted and would be in danger. No one was willing to be the bait. "Let the two of us release the news. We'll choose a place and release the news. Then, you guys will pretend to trade with us and lure out the person who really controls the bow of the ship. What do you think?" Lu Ming said, "Your plan is feasible, but if the other party is really the celestial race, what should we do?" Another person asked, "What should we do? Do you still need to ask me this? We cultivators are originally going against the heavens and are fearless. If we retreat because of fear, how can we embark on the path of the strongest in the future? How can we overcome all obstacles and set foot on the peak? Moreover, we have so many people working together. If the other party is really the celestial race, we can join forces and force them to hand over the position of the bow of the ship." Lu Ming said, "Force the celestial race." Some people's faces were a little pale. The celestial race's accumulated power was too deep. Many people were terrified. However, some people's eyes began to flash with cold light, especially those young people, especially the peerless geniuses on the universe prodigy list. They were originally proud and arrogant, so naturally, they were more courageous. And just as Lu Ming said, if they shrank back and lost this opportunity, the gap between them and the others would widen. Then, their achievements in this life would be very limited. They were destined to not have great achievements. How could these peerless geniuses be willing to accept this? If you are afraid that the celestial race will pursue this matter, then you can just get rid of them. In this way, no one will know, right? Lu Ming said coldly. Hiss. Some of the more timid ones gasped and looked at Lu Ming with some horror. How dare he want to get rid of the celestial race and silence them? This person's guts were simply overwhelming. I think it's feasible. At this time, a young man from the demon race spoke. This person had shoulder-length black hair and cold eyes. He had a demonic nature. Lu Ming recognized that this was an extremely powerful person. He was a peerless genius on the universe prodigy list, ranked in the 70s, much stronger than Gabbert. I think it's feasible too. Another young man also spoke. He was also a genius on the universe prodigy list. Two geniuses on the universe prodigy list spoke in succession, and the others couldn't help but become bolder. Let's do it like that. Let's do it. We can't miss the opportunity in front of us. Let's do it. Next, more and more people expressed their opinions. However, not everyone had the guts to do so. Some people's faces were a little pale, and they remained silent. I know what you are thinking. Some of you want to enjoy the fruits of others' labor. The crossing adversity flying ship can carry more than one person. Some of you want to wait for us to gather the parts and then take a ride, right? Ha, what a good plan. Lu Ming sneered. Many people's faces turned pale, and they glared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming saw through their thoughts. Indeed, some people had this plan. They didn't want to participate in this matter and let Lu Ming and the others make a fuss. If they succeeded, they could take a ride and not offend the celestial race, and they could also enter the core area. It was the best of both worlds. Unfortunately, Lu Ming saw through them. You are too naive. Those who don't participate are not allowed to take a ride. The genius on the universe prodigy list said coldly. The demonic nature in his eyes became stronger, and he was wanton and arrogant as if he would attack at any time. Chapter 43:27. That's right. Since you don't dare to participate, then stay in the outer area. Another young Heaven's Pride said coldly. I'd like to add one more thing. Regardless of whether you're a participant or not, you'll have to swear on your life essence that you'll never divulge this matter to anyone. If someone agrees on the surface but secretly divulges this information to the heavenly human tribe, we'll all be in trouble. Lu Ming said again. That's right. Swear on your life origin. The demon tribe youth and the others nodded and looked around. I agree to join. Me too. Then, more and more people nodded and decided to join Lu Ming and take the risk. If they could really get rid of the heavenly human tribe, it was not impossible to kill them. The Taishang Immortal City had a special environment. Even if they killed the people of the heavenly human tribe, the top elites of the heavenly palace would not be able to calculate it. In the end, more than 70% of the people agreed to join. The remaining 30% did not have the courage and shook their heads and gave up. Of course, Lu Ming and the rest still forced them to swear an oath with their life source to ensure that they would not leak this information. After everyone had sworn, they began to discuss the specific details and decide on the location. Everyone, let's continue with the trade. Otherwise, even if we get the bow, we still lack the other parts. It's useless. That's right. Let's get the other parts. We'll talk about the bow only. Someone said one after another. Not everyone was like Lu Ming and the others who only lacked the bow. Some people lacked several parts. Even if they got the bow, it would be useless. Lu Ming and Yi Ling naturally did not object. They still had 4 spare parts in their hands, and they also wanted to sell them. Then, the trade continued. Everyone, I still have 4 parts. They are the keel, the stern. Yi Ling stood up and continued. This time, I will not exchange for other parts. I will only exchange for desolation pills. Each part is worth 300,000 desolation pills. If you need them, come and exchange. Yi Ling said. Now, they only lacked the bow and did not need other parts. They planned to exchange all of them for desolation pills. Exchanging one component for 300,000 great desolate pills was not too expensive. This could be seen from how difficult it was for Lu Ming and the others to obtain the components of the crossing adversity airship in the immortal abode. Most people would not be able to obtain the components of the crossing adversity flying ship. If not for Yi Ling's powerful strength and the two of them working together, it would not have been easy to obtain them. As one could imagine, this price was not considered expensive. I want a kind of stern. Immediately, someone spoke up. It was from one of the 9 royal plant races. It wasn't just one person taking out 300,000 desolate pills. Instead, it was the combined efforts of many experts from the 9 great plant royalty. After all, one adversity crossing airship could carry many people. Yi Ling was delighted and quickly completed the transaction. After that, other people came to trade. If there were not enough great desolate pills, a few people would pool together. In this way, Lu Ming and Yi Ling sold the 4 spare parts and received 1,200,000 desolation pills. The two of them split the pills equally, and each of them had 600,000 pills. 600,000, plus the 600,000 I got from selling the cauldrons, it's enough for me to break through to the 5th great supreme god layer. Lu Ming thought and couldn't help but smile. His current battle strength was still a little low. If he could break through to the 5th great supreme god layer, his battle strength would skyrocket, and he would be more confident. Next, the others also began to trade for the components they needed. 2 hours later, the transaction was complete. Most of them had obtained what they needed. Unfortunately, in the end, no one was able to gather a complete crossing adversity flying ship. They all lacked a stern. Everything would depend on 3 days later. After the transaction, everyone walked outside. However, when they reached the outside, they stopped. Many people's hearts sank and their faces turned ugly. That was because the outside was blocked by people. A group of people blocked in front of them. They were from the angel race. There were more than 10 of them. You're finally out. Other than the quasi-saint race and the angel race, the other 8 races of the top 10 races are here. I really want to know, what are you doing inside? A young man from the angel race said coldly. What are we doing? We don't need to tell the angel race. A brawny man from the demon race snorted coldly. The demon race and the angel race were sworn enemies, and there was always friction between them. If it weren't for the heavenly palace, the 2 races would have already broken out into a war. Do you think we won't know if you don't tell us? You're trading, right? You're excluding the heavenly human race and trading privately. Hee hee, I wonder what the heavenly human race will think if they find out? The young man from the angel race sneered coldly. The faces of the people from the other 8 races became unsightly. If the heavenly human race found out that they were trading privately, it would affect their plan. I guessed right. Hee hee, I'll definitely tell the heavenly human race about this. The young man from the angel race sneered even more. You are. At this time, a brawny man from the angel race pointed at Lu Ming, his eyes wide open in shock. I've been recognized. A cold glint flashed across Lu Ming's eyes. This brawny man from the angel race had seen Lu Ming before. Now that he saw Lu Ming and sensed the aura of Lu Ming's life origin, he immediately recognized Lu Ming. However, he was too shocked. The people here were all elites from the top 10 races. Every one of them wanted to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming was among them. He was too bold. Therefore, he was so shocked that he didn't call out Lu Ming's name for a while. Lu Ming wouldn't give him another chance. Yiling, kill that brawny man from the angel race. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Yiling. At the same time, Lu Ming rushed out and shouted, "Let's kill them together. We can't let them spread the news to the heavenly human race." Before he finished speaking, Lu Ming had already rushed in front of the young man from the angel race. Swoosh! A dazzling spear radiance shot out and pierced toward the young man from the angel race. Lu Ming immediately used the heaven-splitting form. The young man from the angel race was terrified. He had never expected Lu Ming to suddenly attack. It was too late for him to block it. The spear radiance pierced through his glabella. His soul was annihilated and he died on the spot. Yiling also made his move. Yiling's reaction was very fast. He was also very smart. When he heard Lu Ming's voice transmission and saw the expression on the brawny man from the angel race, he knew that the other party had recognized Lu Ming. Therefore, he couldn't let the other party live. Almost at the same time that Lu Ming rushed out, Yiling also made his move. Like a stream of light, he rushed toward the brawny man from the angel race who had recognized Lu Ming. A sword radiance pierced toward the brawny man from the angel race like a flying immortal. Chapter 43:28. Yiling also used his killer move. His sword light was extremely sharp. The strong angel screamed and holy light exploded. Dense angelic sword light appeared on his body. He wanted to fight back. This strong man's cultivation was at the 6th layer of the great supreme god realm. He was very strong and difficult to deal with. Therefore, Lu Ming didn't attack the strong angel immediately. Instead, he let Yiling deal with him. If he attacked, he wasn't confident that he could kill this strong man. If he couldn't kill him immediately and let him call out his name, then he would be in trouble. He knew that Yiling was smart and would understand what he meant. As expected, Yiling also attacked immediately. Although this strong angel was strong, it was a pity that he had met Yiling. Yiling's cultivation was at the same level as his, but his battle power was much stronger. With a poof, Yiling's sword light broke through the angel sword light and accurately pierced the angel sword light between his eyebrows. The terrifying sword will tore the angel sword light into pieces. One move and he was killed. Lu Ming and Yiling attacked and killed their opponents in an instant. It was too fast. It was only after Lu Ming and Yiling had killed their respective opponents that the rest came to their senses. The people from the other races were shocked. They hadn't expected Lu Ming and Yiling to be so decisive and ruthless. Their opponents were from the angel race, one of the top 10 races. They had a deep relationship with the heavenly human tribe. Ordinary people would hesitate when facing the angel race. They would respect them and wouldn't dare to attack recklessly. As for Lu Ming and Yiling, they had directly killed the two opponents without any hesitation. They were simply too decisive. "You're courting death." The other angels also reacted. They roared crazily. They were furious. "If you don't attack and let them escape, we'll all be finished. Don't you want the opportunity? Don't you want to go to the core area?" shouted Lu Ming. The peerless genius from the demon race on the universe genius list was the most decisive. He was shrouded in demon chi and charged at the angels. His demon blade was extremely sharp. He slashed at the angels. The other experts of the demon race also followed him. There's no way back. Kill! The other races that had agreed to join forces with Lu Ming and the others were also attacking the angels. They weren't as fearful of the angel tribe as they were of the heavenly human tribe. What do you want? Damn it! Retreat! Retreat! The angel roared. His heart sank as fear appeared on his face. They did not expect that people from other races would also attack them. However, how could they retreat now? There were so many experts at the scene. They had already surrounded them. All kinds of terrifying attacks were launched towards the angels. More than 10 angels couldn't resist at all. They screamed miserably and died on the spot. After a round of attacks, all the angels were killed. Clean up the corpses. Let's leave quickly, Lu Ming said. He waved his hand and collected an angel's corpse. Then, his figure flashed and flew into the distance. The other races did the same. They collected all the angels' corpses and wiped away the traces of their attack. Then, they scattered in all directions and disappeared into various buildings. They had caused a huge commotion when they killed the angels. They had probably alerted the heavenly human tribe. Hence, they had to leave as soon as possible. Indeed, not long after Lu Ming and the others left, a few figures flashed and appeared. They were the heavenly human tribe members. The heavenly human tribe members scanned the surroundings with sharp eyes. The aura here is very chaotic. It seems like there are many races here. It seems like there was a chaotic battle here just now. One of the heavenly human tribe members said, it's probably another show of killing and robbing. It's been happening quite often recently. Well, let these despicable races kill each other. Our race can have less competition. That's right. Originally, these despicable races weren't qualified to enter the Taishang Immortal City. If we didn't need them to deal with those traitors, the heavenly human tribe members snorted coldly. They didn't think much of it and left the place. Lu Ming and Yi Ling returned to the place where they had stayed. They divided their gains equally. I need to cultivate for a while. Call me in 3 days, Lu Ming said. Go on. You've obtained so many desolation pills this time. You should be able to make a breakthrough in your cultivation base, Yi Ling said with a look of anticipation. He also hoped that Lu Ming could make a breakthrough. That way, his combat strength would increase greatly and he would be able to help him. The reason why he wanted to work with Lu Ming was because he saw Lu Ming's potential. He knew that the Forbidden Constitution had endless potential. Even if others had desolation pills, they wouldn't be able to refine and make a breakthrough in 3 days. However, the Forbidden Constitution could. It shouldn't be a problem. Lu Ming nodded. Then he walked into one of the rooms and sat down cross-legged. With a wave of his hand, 100,000 desolation pills flew out. Lu Ming took a deep breath and sucked all 100,000 desolation pills into his mouth. As soon as the 100,000 desolation pills entered Lu Ming's mouth, they turned into surging energy and dispersed into the 60 trillion cells in his body. It was like the 60 trillion cells were being refined at the same time. The speed was astonishing. Soon, the energy of the desolation pills had turned into forbidden energy. Lu Ming's forbidden energy had increased. Continue. After refining the 100,000 desolation pills, Lu Ming took out another 100,000 desolation pills and started refining them. 100,000 desolation pills and 100,000 desolation pills. In less than 2 days, 2 million desolation pills had been refined by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body was filled with violent energy. Break! Lu Ming shouted. He mobilized the forbidden energy and broke through to the 5th layer of the Emperor Supreme God realm. The bottleneck of the 5th layer of the Emperor Supreme God realm couldn't stop Lu Ming at all. With a boom, Lu Ming had broken through to a new level. He had successfully broken through to the 5th layer of the Emperor Supreme God realm. Lu Ming's combat strength increased crazily again. So fast he really broke through. Outside the room, Yi Ling's eyes were filled with astonishment. Although he had long known that Lu Ming was very talented and had a taboo body, it was still beyond his expectations. 2 days. It had only been 2 days and Lu Ming had broken through. It was so terrifying that it was beyond his imagination. Is this the forbidden body? It's unfathomable. Fei Yi and the others are really blind. They can only be friends with such a person, they can't offend him. As long as he doesn't die, those who are friends with him will also obtain great opportunities. Yi Ling took a few deep breaths and slowly calmed down. Some thoughts in his heart had become even more firm. Lu Ming didn't immediately stop cultivating. He continued to cultivate and consolidate his cultivation. After half a day, he stopped cultivating. His cultivation had basically stabilized. Chapter 43-29. In less than 3 days, Lu Ming's cultivation level had completely stabilized at the 5th layer of the Emperor Supreme God realm. His fighting power had increased by 3 stars. In addition, Lu Ming's fighting power was slightly stronger than a 12-star one. If his opponent was a 9th layer Emperor Supreme God, he would be able to fight them. During the few days that Lu Ming was cultivating in seclusion, a piece of news quickly spread. Someone had taken control of the bow of the ship and wanted to exchange it for other treasures. The agreed location was a mountain more than 300,000 miles away from the departure point. This news was spread by the other races that had agreed to cooperate with Lu Ming. This was the plan that Lu Ming and the others had discussed beforehand. They would spread the news first. When the person who really controlled the bow of the ship heard the news, he would definitely be furious. He would not allow such a thing to happen. Then, he would definitely kill his way to the agreed location. It's about time. Let's go. Lu Ming said to Yi Ling as he walked out of the room. The two nodded. Then, they left the departure point and headed south. 300,000 miles was soon covered. There was a huge mountain here. Lu Ming and Yi Ling landed at the peak of the mountain. They chose a green rock and sat down cross-legged, waiting quietly. As bait, they naturally had to arrive early. Not long after, the other races also set off. They rushed to the mountain peak and landed at the peak. The Demon Race, the Battle Saint Tribe, the 9 Great Plant Royal Tribes, etc., had all agreed to cooperate. I heard that you have the bow of the ship? How do you want to trade? The Demon Race Genius on the Universe Genius list asked loudly. Since he was acting, he naturally had to go all out. After all, his target had yet to appear. That's right. I was lucky enough to get a few bow of the ship. I'll use them to exchange for pill furnaces or desolation pills. A bow of the ship can be exchanged for a pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters or 1 million desolation pills. Who's willing? Lu Ming deliberately shouted. His voice spread far and wide. I want to trade. I'll use a pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters to trade with you. The Demon Race Genius gritted his teeth and took out a pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters. Wait! Right at this moment, a cold and indifferent voice resounded. The voice was filled with arrogance and haughtiness. Following that, several figures flew over from the distant sky. There were a total of more than 10 figures, each of them emitting a powerful aura. Everyone on the mountain peak felt a strong pressure. Heavenly Human Tribe. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes and looked at the sky. Killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. Sure enough, it was the celestial race. His guess was right. As for the people of the other races, their hearts skipped a beat. Panic flashed in the depths of their eyes. After all, the Heavenly Human Tribe was too powerful. When everyone saw the members of the Heavenly Human Tribe, they couldn't help but panic. It really is the Heavenly Human Tribe. What a pity. I was hoping it would be someone else. Many people sighed inwardly. They had originally hoped that the one controlling the ship's bow wasn't someone from the celestial race, but someone else. That way, they wouldn't have to be afraid, and they would be able to take action. The result they wanted to see the most was the Heavenly Human Tribe. Unfortunately, things didn't go as they wished. Now, they could only brace themselves. The dozen or so members of the Heavenly Human Tribe were extremely fast. In a few flashes, they appeared in the sky above the mountain peak. They stood in the air and looked down at Lu Ming and the others. There were a few young members of the Heavenly Human Tribe. The rest were in their prime. In particular, there were a few young men from the Heavenly Human Tribe who emitted an aura that made one's heart tremble. One of the young men from the heavenly human tribe stepped out and looked at Lu Ming and Yi Ling with a sharp and arrogant gaze. Do you have the position of the bow of the ship in your hands? The young man from the heavenly human tribe asked coldly. So what if I do? So what if I don't? Lu Ming replied indifferently. Lu Ming's tone made the young man from the heavenly human tribe flash with cold, killing intent. How dare this person talk to him with such an attitude? If you do, hand over all the positions of the bow of the ship to me. If you don't, I will kill you. The young man from the heavenly human tribe said in a domineering tone, as if there was no room for doubt. Trade with you? No, first come first serve. Since they arrived first, I naturally have to give them the position of the bow of the ship. You guys can only queue at the back. Lu Ming spoke. Queue at the back? Hee, seems like you still don't understand my meaning. I'm not negotiating with you or trading with you. I'm ordering you to hand over the position of the bow of the ship to me. The young man from the heavenly human tribe spoke, his voice getting colder and colder. The killing intent in his eyes was no longer concealed. The threat was obvious. However, Lu Ming didn't care about his threat at all. That won't do. You have to ask everyone here if they agree or not. Lu Ming turned his gaze to the Devil race, Battle Saint tribe and the other races. You guys don't agree? The young man from the heavenly human tribe turned his gaze to the Devil race, Battle Saint tribe and the other races. The hearts of these races started to panic. However, when they thought of the good fortune in the core region, they could only brace themselves. Lords from the heavenly human tribe, I'm sorry. We really lack the position of the bow of the ship. Without the position of the bow, we can't enter the core region. Hence, we must obtain the position of the bow of the ship. The prodigy from the Devil race on the Universe Prodigy list spoke first. With someone speaking up, the others became bolder. They all spoke up, me too. We only lack the position of the bow of the ship. How dare you? The young man from the heavenly human tribe was furious. How dare you? Are you trying to go against the heavenly human tribe? We have no intention of going against the heavenly human tribe. We only want the position of the bow of the ship. If the lords from the heavenly human tribe also lack the position of the bow of the ship, we can give one to you. The prodigy from the Devil race said. I don't need one. I want all of them. All of the positions of the bow of the ship. Do you understand? The young man from the heavenly human tribe shouted. The scene fell silent. Everyone looked at the young man from the heavenly human tribe with a strange gaze. The matter was very clear. The heavenly human tribe didn't want one but all of them. It was obvious that they wanted to monopolize the position of the bow of the ship so that others couldn't enter the core region. Previously, they had been probing. Now, they didn't need to do so. It was very obvious. It seems that the position of the bow of the ship has really been monopolized by the heavenly human tribe. It should be with one of you. Is it with you? Lu Ming stood up and looked at the young man from the heavenly human tribe. You talk too much nonsense. I'll say it again. Hand over the position of the bow of the ship. Otherwise, I'll let you die a horrible death. The young man from the heavenly human tribe shouted. He had lost his patience. No. I should be the one saying this to you. Now, hand over the position of the bow of the ship. Otherwise, I'll let you die a horrible death, Lu Ming said indifferently. Chapter 43:30. What? The young man from the heavenly human tribe was stunned for a moment. Lu Ming was telling the truth. He actually wanted to rob him of the bow of the ship. Audacious. This despicable ant was simply audacious. However, the young man from the heavenly human tribe was not stupid. He quickly reacted and stared at Lu Ming. He shouted, So, you don't have the bow of the ship with you. You are deliberately blackmailing me. I guessed it right. The one who really monopolizes the bow of the ship is your heavenly human tribe. You want to prevent others from entering the core area to reduce the competition. Hee, how despicable. Lu Ming sneered. The young man from the heavenly human tribe and the other heavenly human tribe members' faces turned cold. Even if you have guessed it, so what? How dare you blackmail us? Today you will die miserably. The young man from the heavenly human tribe said coldly. A powerful aura burst out and he was about to attack. Your heavenly human tribe only has this many people. Do you think you can match us? Lu Ming sneered. In the surroundings, the Devil Tribe, Battle Saint Tribe, Buddha Tribe, and the 9 plant tribes all released powerful auras and looked at the people from the heavenly human tribe with evil intentions. This made the people from the heavenly human tribe feel great pressure. Their bodies that were about to attack also stiffened. Audacious! What do you want to do? The young man from the heavenly human tribe roared and looked at the other tribes coldly. What I want to do is very simple. I want you to hand over the bow of the ship so that everyone can enter the core area. Lu Ming said loudly. He agreed on behalf of the other tribes and left them with no way out. That's right. The Taishang Immortal City is a fair competition. The lords from the heavenly human tribe have monopolized the bow of the ship. Isn't it too much? Why don't we take it out for a trade? It's a win-win situation. A muscular man from the blood race suggested. He was still afraid of the heavenly human tribe's authority and wanted a solution that would not offend them. Haha. At this moment, the young man from the heavenly human tribe laughed wildly as if he had encountered something funny. After a while, he stopped and said coldly, "Let me tell you, I do have a lot of bow of the ship with me. However, I won't take it out for a trade. What can you do?" The young man from the heavenly human tribe looked at everyone, full of arrogance and confidence. He didn't believe that these people would dare to attack them. Among the top 10 races, except for the quasi-immortal race, the other races were indeed high and mighty in the primitive universe. They looked down on countless races and were the pinnacle races of the universe. But in front of the celestial race, they were nothing more than dogs. These people dared to attack them? He didn't believe it. Unfortunately, he was disappointed this time. Lords of the heavenly human tribe, we only ask for a position at the head of the ship. If that's not possible, then we can only offend you. Excuse me. Many voices were heard. The figures of the elites of the various races flashed and they surrounded the dozen heavenly humans. Audacious! You dare? You're rebelling. Do you want to be exterminated? The heavenly human youth roared. Why wouldn't I dare? As long as we kill all of you, who will know that we did it? Also, this trip to the Taishang Immortal City is a fair competition. Everything depends on strength. I don't believe that the Heavenly Palace will annihilate the clans because of this. If they annihilate the clans, who will help you deal with the rebels and the demons? Lu Ming shouted, stabilizing the morale of the army. As expected, the eyes of the elites of the various races became more determined. You're courting death. The heavenly human youth was enraged and he let out a hysterical roar. He really did not expect that these despicable people in his eyes would actually dare to attack them. However, although he was furious, his face was solemn. He wasn't the only one. The other heavenly humans were the same. There were many elites present and they outnumbered them. Once they attacked, they weren't confident that they could escape. They might be trapped here and be annihilated. What should they do? Should they really submit to these ants? They couldn't accept it. They couldn't accept it. At this moment, a burly heavenly human youth came to the side of the youth and whispered a few words in his ear. The heavenly human youth's eyes were filled with unwillingness. His expression kept changing. After a while, he gritted his teeth and made a decision. Alright, I agree. I'll use the position at the head of the ship to trade with you. However, the two of them aren't qualified. The heavenly human youth pointed at Lu Ming and Yi Ling. The murderous intent in his eyes was extremely intense. He was trying to divide Lu Ming and Yi Ling. They could already tell that Lu Ming and Yi Ling were the masterminds this time. They wanted to divide the various races and deal with Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Don't fall into their trap. If we don't kill them, they'll definitely come after us. Only by killing them can we solve the problem once and for all. Lu Ming shouted. You have to think carefully. If you really attack, can you keep all of us here? If even one of us escapes, do you know the consequences? As long as you trade with us now and leave on your own, I can say that I won't pursue the matter. The heavenly human youth said. He hated Lu Ming and Yi Ling to the core. He would rather not pursue the matter and make Lu Ming and Yi Ling pay a heavy price. As soon as he said that, The eyes of the various races flickered and they wanted to retreat. How do you want to trade for the head of the ship? Someone asked. Clearly, they had already retreated. After all, the heavenly human tribe had accumulated too much power and they were still filled with fear. They would definitely not attack if they could. Now, as long as they paid a price, they could get the head of the ship and enter the core area. Why would they attack? Lu Ming and Yi Ling looked at each other and saw the helplessness in each other's eyes. Clearly, the various races had already retreated. It was useless for them to say anything more and they could only play by ear. As you said before, the head of the ship can be exchanged for a pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters or 1 million desolation pills. The heavenly human youth said and waved his hand. A part of the head of the ship appeared in his hand. Many people's eyes lit up. We're willing to exchange a pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters for the head of the ship. The demon race prodigy was the first to speak. He took out a pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters and pushed it toward the heavenly human youth. There was a hint of reluctance in the heavenly human youth's eyes. In the end, he gritted his teeth and threw the head of the ship to the demon race prodigy. Both parties completed the trade. Let's go! After completing the trade, the demon race people did not stay and left one after another. I'll trade too. Following that, the people of the other races took out pill furnaces with a diameter of 3 meters and traded with the heavenly human youth. Soon, all the races obtained the head of the ship and left. Only Lu Ming and Yi Ling were left on the mountain peak. There were more than 10 heavenly human cultivators. Chapter 43-31. The young man of the heavenly human tribe looked at Lu Ming and Yi Ling. His eyes were glittering. Those two lowly insects had dared to trick them. Their plan had failed and they had lost the position of the boat. Damn it, they deserved to die. Lowly bastards, let's see how you're going to die this time, shouted the young man of the heavenly human tribe coldly. He stepped forward, releasing a powerful chi. Sixth Great Supreme God Layer. The young man of the heavenly human tribe was releasing a powerful chi. He was going to attack and kill Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Apparently, he was very confident. Even though Yi Ling also had the strength of the Sixth Great Supreme God Layer, he was still confident. He was a top genius of the heavenly human tribe. Not many people in the heavenly human tribe were stronger than him. The other members of the heavenly human tribe were obviously very confident in this young man. They surrounded Lu Ming and Yi Ling, looking as though they were preventing them from escaping. I will cripple you first. You won't be able to live and you won't be able to die. The young man from the heavenly human tribe let out a ferocious roar. He pointed his fingers continuously and a few streams of finger force broke through the air, shooting toward Lu Ming and Yi Ling's joints. He didn't want to kill Lu Ming and Yi Ling immediately. That wasn't enough. He wanted to do it step by step. He wanted to cripple them first and then torture them slowly. He wanted to show them the dignity of the heavenly human tribe. The dignity of the heavenly human tribe was inviolable. A few strands of finger force flew out, emitting a terrifying whistling sound. Their speed was extremely shocking. Clang. Yi Ling's body emitted a sword sound. He wanted to attack. Let me do it this time, said Lu Ming. He had just broken through and his fighting strength had increased. He wanted to test his own strength. As soon as Lu Ming said that, Yi Ling's chi quickly disappeared. Boom. Lu Ming took a step forward and the air shook. At the same time, he flicked his finger and a few spear lights flew towards the young man's finger energies. You're just a cultivator of the fifth great supreme God layer. You're overestimating yourself. The heavenly human youth sneered, revealing a look of disdain. In the next moment, the finger force and the spear light collided with each other, emitting a few faint sounds of collision. Then, the finger force of the heavenly human race young man dissipated, while Lu Ming's spear light continued to fly towards the heavenly human race young man. How could this be? The young man from the heavenly human tribe was shocked. This scene was completely out of his expectations. He originally thought that he could easily defeat Lu Ming's attack, and then cripple Lu Ming's joints, making Lu Ming limp on the ground like a dead dog. Who would have thought that he would be the one to be defeated? At this moment, it was already too late for him to dodge. At the critical moment, he could only lay down several layers of defense in front of him, hoping to block Lu Ming's attack. Bam bam bam. Several spear lights struck the heavenly human youth. His body shook violently and he retreated rapidly. Several bloody holes appeared on his body. They were pierced by the spear lights. In the end, he still couldn't completely defend against Lu Ming's attack. Damn it, you deserve to die. The young man from the heavenly human tribe was furious. He roared crazily with a ferocious look in his eyes. You talk too much nonsense. Use all your strength. This little bit of strength is too weak. Lu Ming stepped forward. His body was shrouded in dazzling light, and a terrifying aura was constantly erupting from his body. To be honest, the young man from the heavenly human tribe was very powerful. From the previous exchange of blows, Lu Ming judged that the young man had at least a 6-star combat strength. Moreover, the young man obviously didn't use his full strength. If he did, his combat strength would definitely be more than 6 stars. Heaven's punishment power, kill. The young man from the heavenly human tribe roared. In a rage, he finally unleashed all his strength and used the Heaven's punishment power. After using the Heaven's punishment power, the young man's combat strength erupted to the peak. 8-star. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. The young man from the heavenly human tribe was definitely a top monster in the heavenly human tribe. His combat strength had reached 8 stars. 8-star combat strength was absolutely terrifying. Moreover, the young man's cultivation was 1 level higher than Lu Ming's. In total, there was an 11-star gap between them. Unfortunately, Lu Ming's combat strength was at the peak of 12-star. Swoosh. The white lightning formed by the Heaven's punishment power was like a long snake. It slashed toward Lu Ming with terrifying power. Lu Ming also pushed his combat strength to the peak. Other than not using the heaven-breaking style, everything else was at the peak. Lu Ming turned into a dazzling ray of light and rushed toward the young man from the heavenly human tribe. He continuously punched with both of his fists. Boom, boom, boom. Violent collisions erupted. The two of them continuously exchanged more than 10 blows. In the end, Lu Ming forcefully broke through the Heaven's punishment power. The terrifying fist force crushed toward the young man from the heavenly human tribe. The young man from the heavenly human tribe was violently shaken. He retreated like a cannonball. His face was pale and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. When Lu Ming activated his 11-star combat strength, his combat strength was about the same as the young man from the heavenly human tribe. However, during this period of time, Lu Ming had transformed many ordinary secret techniques into secret technique runes and merged them with his cells. His combat strength had increased a little. Therefore, even if he didn't use the heaven-breaking style, he was still stronger than the young man from the heavenly human tribe. His combat strength? How can he be so strong? The other members of the heavenly human tribe gasped. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. They were a little confused. Was this person one of the top few geniuses on the universe genius list? The top few geniuses on the universe genius list should have a cultivation level higher than the 5th Emperor Supreme God layer. Besides, they all knew that it couldn't be this person. Die! Lu Ming didn't care about what those people thought. He continued to attack the young man from the heavenly human tribe. How dare you! Shouted a strong man from the heavenly human tribe. He took a step forward and condensed a battle sword. He slashed it toward Lu Ming. Sword chi whistled, emitting a violent pressure. Lu Ming's hair stood on end. He sensed a terrifying danger. Without hesitation, Lu Ming performed the sky-breaking movement. Boom! Their attacks collided. Lu Ming retreated quickly, but the strong man from the heavenly human tribe also retreated. He retreated even further than Lu Ming. 7th Emperor Supreme God layer. Lu Ming's gaze was grave. The strong man from the heavenly human tribe had the cultivation level of the 7th Emperor Supreme God layer, and he had the battle strength of 6 stars. His combat strength was almost the same as Lu Ming's. Let's attack together and kill them both, shouted the young man from the heavenly human tribe. He finally reacted. He hadn't expected Lu Ming's combat strength to be so strong. He was astonished. He had thought that he could easily kill Lu Ming. He hadn't expected Lu Ming's combat strength to be so terrifying. The strong man of the 7th Emperor's supreme god layer couldn't do anything to Lu Ming. It was terrifying. Die! Die! All the other members of the angel tribe attacked. All of them unleashed a terrifying aura. All kinds of attacks bombarded Lu Ming. How strong! There are a few of them who have the strength of the 7th Emperor's supreme god layer. Lu Ming was surprised. He didn't want to fight back. Instead, he used a movement technique and retreated. "Where are you going? Die!" shouted the heavenly human tribe. They chased after Lu Ming. Chapter 43-32. More than a dozen strong cultivators of the angel clan chased after Lu Ming to kill him. Some of their attacks were terrifying. They weren't any weaker than the strong angel who had attacked Lu Ming. They had the strength of the 7th great supreme god layer and 6 stars. There were 4 of them. These 4 people were the strongest among the dozen or so angels. Lu Ming could deal with one of them, but he was no match for 4 of them. Clang! The sound of a sword rang out as Yi Ling attacked. He stabbed out with his sword, which transformed into 4 beams of sword light that pierced towards the 4 strongest people. After 4 consecutive booms, Yi Ling's body retreated rapidly. Although he had blocked the attacks of the 4 strong cultivators, he had been pushed back. Is this Yi Ling's limit? He's close to 10 stars. Lu Ming's heart stirred. Yi Ling had the cultivation of the 6th great supreme god layer. He was 1 level lower than the strong angels, but he had blocked the attacks of the 4 strong cultivators by himself. The peak of 9-star battle prowess was close to 10 stars. One of the strongest cultivators of the Heaven Destroyer was terrifying. At this moment, the angels' hearts could no longer be described with the word astonishment. Lu Ming and Yi Ling's fighting strength couldn't be described as terrifying anymore. It was abnormal. "We must kill them," shouted the young man from the heavenly human clan. He was covered by the power of the sky. His injuries healed quickly. His fighting strength returned to its peak. He took out a weapon from the Taishang Immortal City and continued to attack Lu Ming. At the same time, 2 of the 7th great supreme god layer cultivators with 6 stars left Yi Ling and charged towards Lu Ming. Apart from them, there were a few other heavenly human clan members. The others surrounded Yi Ling. In addition to the 4 strongest experts, the combat power of the other angels was also not to be underestimated. For example, there was a 7th great supreme god layer cultivator with 5 stars of fighting strength. They were no match for Lu Ming or Yi Ling in a one-on-one fight. However, if they joined forces, they were still a threat. Lu Ming retreated quickly in the face of so many strong cultivators. "You want to leave?" A burly man roared. Terrifying sword light whistled, tearing through the void, slashing towards Lu Ming with astonishing speed. Heaven-breaking style. Lu Ming unleashed the sky-breaking style. His body transformed into a long spear, breaking through the air and breaking the sword light of his opponent. His figure did not stop as he continued to stab towards his opponent. The other party's expression changed, and he angrily shouted, "Heavenly punishment!" His sword light was shrouded in a layer of strange power. This was the power of heavenly punishment. That strong man had the strength of the 7th great supreme god layer and 6 stars. He also controlled one of the strongest celestial energies, the divine punishment force. With a clang, the sword light collided with Lu Ming. This time, Lu Ming's body and mind trembled, and he couldn't help but take a few steps back. However, the other party also retreated. They were evenly matched in this exchange. Luckily, this person has only grasped a little bit of heavenly punishment's power. Lu Ming felt relieved. Even though that strong man from the heavenly human clan had grasped a little bit of heavenly punishment's power, he was not as strong as the young genius from the angel clan. However, even though he had only grasped a little bit of heavenly punishment's power, his fighting strength had increased a lot. He was now able to fight against Lu Ming. Originally, Lu Ming's fighting strength was at the limit of 12 stars, while his opponent was only at the limit of 6 stars. Even though there was a difference of 2 cultivation levels between them, Lu Ming could still suppress his opponent. However, his opponent had used Heavenly Punishment's power to increase his fighting strength to the limit of 6 stars. In this way, the difference between their fighting strengths was not that big. Heavenly Punishment. At that moment, another strong man from the Angel clan who had the strength of the 7th Great Supreme God Layer and 6 stars also attacked Lu Ming. He used another kind of Heavenly Punishment's power, the Heavenly Punishment Force. Gray destructive energy rushed towards Lu Ming. Its power was not any weaker than Lu Ming's full-strength attack. In addition, other strong cultivators also attacked Lu Ming from different directions. Facing so many strong cultivators, Lu Ming's face darkened. He felt great pressure. He used the Greater Aurora technique, and his figure flashed in another direction, avoiding the opponent's attack. "You can't escape. Surround him." The Heavenly Human Tribe shouted and chased after Lu Ming. They did not stop attacking. On the other side, Yiling was also at a disadvantage. Similar to Lu Ming's situation, the 2 strong men from the Heavenly Human Tribe besieging him had also grasped the Heavenly Punishment's power. Although they had only grasped a little bit of it, their fighting strength had increased a lot. Neither of them was weaker than him. When the 2 of them joined forces with other strong cultivators, Yiling was also at a disadvantage. He mainly used his defense to surround them and seize the opportunity to counterattack. In this way, Lu Ming and Yiling were both at a disadvantage. What should I do? Do I have to leave? Lu Ming's mind raced. With his and Yiling's strength, it was not difficult for them to leave. The Heavenly Human Tribe could not stop them. However, if they left, they would not be able to get the bow of the ship and form the Tribulation Crossing flying boat. Without the Tribulation Crossing flying boat, how could they cross the Tribulation Crossing sea? They were unwilling to leave without getting the bow of the ship. The bow of the ship is in that guy's storage ring. I'll find a chance to take that guy's storage ring. Lu Ming glanced at the young prodigy of the Heavenly Human Tribe. In an instant, dozens of thoughts and ideas flashed through his mind. Unfortunately, none of them were feasible. The main reason was that the few strong men from the Heavenly Human Tribe were too strong. They kept Lu Ming busy. There were other strong cultivators too. Moreover, the young prodigy of the Heavenly Human Tribe was also very strong. His combat strength was 1 star lower than Lu Ming's. It would not be easy to take his storage ring. Lu Ming used the Great Aurora skill to dodge the other party's attack while looking for an opportunity. At this moment, a few figures suddenly rushed out from the ground in the distance and rushed toward them. Lu Ming was startled at first. He thought that the other party had come to help. However, he was immediately overjoyed. Because Lu Ming knew those people. They were not people from the Heavenly Palace, but people from the Heaven Destroyer. They had come to help. Lu Ming even knew the name of one of them. Tian Xianyu, a peerless genius from the Heaven Destroyer. She was as famous as Yiling. In addition, there were also a few strong men from the Heaven Destroyer. The auras of those strong men were extremely shocking. They had reached the 7th level of the Great God Realm. Even before they arrived, a few strong men from the Heaven Exterminating Army let out terrifying roars. Their bodies rapidly grew in size until they were millions of feet tall. This is the primitive divine body. They have the bloodline of the primitive divine spirit. They are traitors. The people from the Heavenly Human Tribe shouted. The strong men had the bloodline of the primitive divine spirit. They were the descendants of the primitive divine spirit. Their combat strength was also extremely strong. They definitely had a combat strength of 6 stars. A few huge fists punched toward the strongest cultivators of the Heavenly Human Tribe. Facing such an attack, the Heavenly Human Tribe did not dare to be careless. They quickly blocked it. Chapter 43-33. Boom, boom, boom. The 2 sides engaged in a fierce battle, causing violent explosions and overflowing energy. For people from the Heaven Destroyer had come, and they were all experts. Other than Tian Xianyue, the other 3 were all in their prime. They were all 7th-layer Great God Realm cultivators, and their combat strength was no weaker than the 4 strongest people from the Heavenly Human Tribe. They charged over and engaged in a fierce battle with the 3 strongest people from the Heavenly Human Tribe. As a result, Lu Ming felt the pressure on him lessen. He struck out and forced a 7th-layer Great God Realm Cultivator with 5-star combat strength back. Hand over your storage ring. Tian Shenyue had already charged toward the young genius from the heavenly human tribe. Obviously, they were also here for the bow position. 9 full moons floated above Tian Shenyue's head, emitting pure white light. Bush, bush, bush. The 9 full moons turned into 9 saber lights and slashed toward the young genius from the heavenly human tribe. 9 moons saber. You're the traitor Tian Shenyue. The young genius from the heavenly human tribe shouted. Heaven Destroyer and the Heavenly Palace were mortal enemies. They fought all year round and had a lot of dealings with each other. They knew about each other's top geniuses. They didn't recognize Yi Ling, but they recognized Tian Shenyue. Since you know I'm Tian Shenyue Dai, Tian Shenyue shouted coldly. 9 moons saber kept slashing at the young genius from the heavenly human tribe. The young genius from the heavenly human tribe kept flashing. He didn't dare to confront Tian Shenyue directly and focused on dodging. There were more than a dozen people from the heavenly human tribe. Many of them charged toward Tian Shenyue to share the pressure from the young genius from the heavenly human tribe. These people's combat strength was also very terrifying. Although they weren't as strong as Tian Shenyue, the difference wasn't too big. They could pose a fatal threat to Tian Shenyue. Tian Shenyue had to defend herself and fight against these people. Tian Shenyue, you're the one who's going to die today. The young genius from the heavenly human tribe shouted. The power of heavenly punishment bloomed in his palm, and streaks of pure white lightning struck toward Tian Shenyue. For a moment, it was difficult for Tian Shenyue to deal with the young genius from the heavenly human tribe. The 4 strongest cultivators from the heavenly human tribe were fighting with Yi Ling and the 3 descendants of the primordial divine spirits. As for Lu Ming, there were only 2 people attacking him. The strength of these 2 people was not bad, but they were not Lu Ming's match at all. Heaven-breaking style. Lu Ming let out a low roar as he pushed his battle prowess to the extreme. His body trembled as he transformed into 2 dazzling rays of light that charged toward the 2 heavenly human tribe elites. After 2 loud booms, the 2 heavenly human powerhouses retreated rapidly. Kill! Lu Ming shouted in a low voice, charging towards one of them with all his might. This person's battle prowess was 2 stars lower than Lu Ming's, so how could he block it? The spear light pierced through his forehead, and he died on the spot. Lu Ming's entire body elongated, and the long spear that he had transformed into also became longer and longer. He swept it out and attacked another person. That person had the strength of the 7th Great Supreme God Layer and 5 stars of battle strength. He was only 1 star weaker than Lu Ming. However, the difference of 1 star was not small. It was equivalent to the difference of 1 Divine Emperor layer. The person fought back with all his might, and when he collided with Lu Ming's long spear, there was a loud explosion. The person screamed in agony as his body was sent flying and he coughed up blood. However, Lu Ming did not stop attacking. He pushed the heaven-breaking style to the extreme, and spear lights continued to attack the person. Layers of spear shadows completely surrounded the person. After blocking a few more attacks, the person was finally defeated and was killed by Lu Ming. That way, Lu Ming had no opponent left. Lu Ming glanced around and finally looked at Yi Ling. Yi Ling and the strong man from the heavenly human tribe had already exchanged a few dozen attacks, but there was no clear winner. The 2 of them were crazily attacking each other, trying to defeat each other. If this continued, it would be a competition of battle experience and endurance. Their strength was similar, so in the end, it would be battle experience, mentality, and endurance that would determine the winner. However, Lu Ming would not wait any longer. Swoosh! Lu Ming continued to use the heaven-breaking style. He turned into a dazzling spear light and pierced towards the strong man from the heavenly human tribe who was fighting with Yi Ling. The heaven-breaking style contained the power of the ultimate Aurora skill. It was too fast. In an instant, it was near the strong man from the heavenly human tribe. The strong man from the heavenly human tribe could not help but tense up. He shouted angrily and turned around to slash at Lu Ming with his sword. With a loud bang, Lu Ming's attack was blocked and he drifted backward. However, The strong man from the heavenly human tribe also staggered a few steps back. How could Yi Ling let go of such a rare opportunity? Swoosh! He became one with his sword and pushed his combat strength to the extreme. He slashed at the strong man from the heavenly human tribe. Although the strong man from the heavenly human tribe tried his best to dodge the attack, his combat strength was similar to that of Lu Ming and Yi Ling. He had just been pushed back by Lu Ming. How could he dodge the attack? Blood splattered everywhere. The strong man from the heavenly human tribe was still hit by the sword light. A hideous wound appeared on his chest. It went all the way to his back and blood flowed out. The terrifying sword chi in the wound rushed towards the other parts of his body. The strong man from the heavenly human tribe coughed up blood. He was severely injured. Kill! Kill! Lu Ming and Yi Ling shouted and charged towards the strong man from two different directions. Damn it! Let's retreat first. The strong man from the heavenly human tribe roared and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. He was going all out and started to burn the power of the heavens. His entire body was like a ball of fire as he charged into the distance. This person's combat strength was not comparable to Lu Ming or Yi Ling. At this moment, the two of them could not stop him. He rushed out and flew into the distance. He did not dare to stay. He could not last long in this state. If he stayed, he might be left behind forever. Damn it! The other heavenly human tribe members were shocked. Among them, the strongest expert had escaped. This had broken the balance of power between the two sides. The people from the heavenly human tribe started to panic. Yi Ling, get to the front of the ship. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Yi Ling. Before he finished his sentence, he had already charged towards the young sky pride from the heavenly human tribe. Yi Ling understood. He turned into a beam of sword light and charged towards the young sky pride from the heavenly human tribe. Damn it! Retreat! When the young sky pride from the heavenly human tribe saw this, he did not dare to stay any longer. He roared and ran away. However, Lu Ming had already prepared for this move. Teleportation skill. With a thought, the teleportation skill was used. Lu Ming disappeared from where he was. When he reappeared, he was in front of the young sky pride from the heavenly human tribe. His body was like a long spear as he stabbed towards the young sky pride. Heavenly punishment. The young sky pride from the heavenly human tribe roared and resisted with the power of heavenly punishment. Unfortunately, his combat strength was still not as good as Lu Ming's. The power of heavenly punishment was defeated and the young sky pride from the heavenly human tribe coughed out blood and retreated. Yi Ling was behind him. He had already arrived. Chapter 43-34. Behind him, Yi Ling had already arrived. His sharp sword radiance was aimed at the heavenly human youth. The terrifying danger made the heavenly human youth roar in a frenzy. His body emitted a violent aura as he burned the power of the heavens. How dare you! How dare you! The other heavenly human elites roared and wanted to rush over to help. However, Tian Xianyue and the rest would not let them do as they wished. They did their best to hold back the heavenly human elites. You can't escape, Lu Ming said coldly as he attacked with all his might with Yi Ling. The heavenly human youth was weaker than Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Even if he burned the power of the heavens, he could not escape. Moreover, they were already prepared. No matter what, they had to capture this young genius from the heavenly human tribe. The attacks of the two, spear radiance and sword radiance, filled the entire void. No matter how hard the heavenly human youth tried, he could not break out. After a few explosions, the heavenly human youth screamed in pain. His body was in tatters and he was severely injured. He almost died. If not for the fact that his life-saving ability was stronger than the others, he would have died. However, even if he did not die, he was severely injured. Swoosh! Yi Ling's sword radiance flashed. In the next moment, the heavenly human youth's glabella was pierced. His soul was destroyed and he died on the spot. Lu Ming rushed over and reached out to grab the storage ring of the young man from the heavenly human tribe. Damn it, you despicable bastards, traitors. You will be destroyed by the heavenly human tribe sooner or later. Let's leave this place first. The other heavenly human cultivators roared. At the same time, they felt a chill in their hearts. They roared a few times and did not dare to stay. They rushed into the distance in an attempt to escape. Lu Ming, Yi Ling, and the rest did not chase after them. The combat strength of these heavenly human cultivators was very strong. Although they had the upper hand, it was not that great. If the heavenly human cultivators wanted to escape, it would be difficult for them to stop them. Anyway, the heavenly human youth's storage ring had been left behind. Swoosh, swoosh. In a flash, Tian Xianyue and the rest flew over. Tian Xianyu, thank you so much for your help this time. Yi Ling cupped his fists. They had known each other for a long time. There's no need to thank us. We've been hiding nearby for a long time, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Tian Xianyu smiled, looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, I didn't expect you to catch up so quickly. The forbidden body is really terrifying. Brother Tianxian, you're too courteous. This time, it's all thanks to you. Lu Ming replied politely. Clearly, Tianxian Yu and the others had long known about this and were hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to strike. That's right, let's check if there's a place for the bow of the ship in your storage ring. Tianxian Yu said. Lu Ming nodded. He took the storage ring and probed it with his soul sense. With one look, Lu Ming's face lit up. Inside, there was a position for the bow of the ship. Our luck is not bad. There are 2 items at the bow of the ship. One for each of us. Lu Ming waved his hand, and 2 items flew out from the bow of the ship. One of them flew towards Tian Xianyu. Tian Xianyu reached out and took it. Ahem, I'm still missing the keel and the deck. Do you have them in here? Tian Xianyu coughed twice, feeling a little embarrassed. Yes. Lu Ming nodded and waved his hand. The keel and the deck also flew to Tian Xianyu. This time, without the help of Tian Xianyu and the others, Lu Ming and Yi Ling would not have been able to get the bow of the ship. Now that he could get the bow of the ship, he was already very satisfied. They already had the other parts, so it was useless to keep them. Thank you, Brother Lu Ming. You can have the rest of the items in this storage ring. We have enough. Tian Xianyu said with a smile. Yes, the rest is yours. A descendant of the primordial divine spirit said. Lu Ming did not stand on ceremony and kept it for the time being. There were still many desolation pills in the storage ring. He would divide them equally with Yi Ling, then we'll take our leave for now. See you in the core area. Tian Xianyu cupped her fists and left with the descendants of the primordial divine spirit. They could see that Lu Ming and Yi Ling were working together. The few of them were also working together. They had no intention of working together with Lu Ming and the others. It was not always better to have more people working together. The more people there were, the less they would get if they obtained the opportunity. It was fine as long as the number of people was about the same. After Tian Xianyu and the others left, Lu Ming and Yi Ling also left the place. Hundreds of thousands of miles away, Lu Ming and Yi Ling landed in a valley. The 2 of them waved their hands and pieces of the crossing adversity flying ship flew out. A total of 9 pieces of the crossing adversity flying ship flew into the air. As if sensing something, the 9 pieces vibrated and emitted a dazzling glow. Then they began to grow bigger and closer to each other. There's a reaction. Lu Ming and Yi Ling were overjoyed. Indeed, there would only be a reaction when all 9 pieces were gathered. Previously, when they only had 8 pieces, they took them out to try and there was no reaction at all. Clang clang. The 9 pieces were put together and finally, a sailboat-like ship appeared before Lu Ming and the others. The crossing adversity flying ship. This was the crossing adversity flying ship. It was like a sailboat and could carry hundreds of people at a time. We can finally enter the core area. Lu Ming, give it. We'll set off now. Yi Ling said. He asked Lu Ming to keep it to show his trust in Lu Ming. The more he interacted with Lu Ming, the more he realized how terrifying Lu Ming was. He had already decided to befriend Lu Ming. As long as Lu Ming did not die, he would also gain endless benefits. He was also a person with great opportunities, but he felt that he was definitely not as good as Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded and did not stand on ceremony. He waved his hand and put away the crossing adversity flying ship. Then, the two of them rose into the air and headed toward the place where they set off. Forming the crossing adversity flying ship did not mean that they could drive it and set off. They had to set off from the place where they set off and absorb special energy to start it. The two of them came to the periphery of the place where they set off. They were not in a hurry to enter the place where they set off. Instead, they found a secret place to hide. The heavenly human tribe had suffered such a great loss. How could they let it go? In order to start the crossing adversity flying ship, they had to absorb special energy at a specific place where they set off. They did not have to look for Lu Ming and the others. They just had to wait there for Lu Ming and the others to come to them. Lu Ming estimated that there must be a large number of heavenly human tribe experts lying in ambush at the place where they set off. They would be walking right into a trap if they went in. Although the two of them were strong, they would not underestimate the heavenly human tribe. One had to know that the people who entered the Grand Supreme Immortal City this time included the middle-aged generation. Those who were less than a stellar year were all in their prime. There must be people who had cultivated to the 8th or even 9th level of the divine god realm. Also, how strong would the geniuses of the middle-aged generation be? They were definitely no match for such people. Chapter 43-35. Therefore it was better to wait for a while. The two of them stayed at the periphery of the departure point. As they cultivated, they would occasionally go to the departure point to inquire about the situation. Lu Ming still had many ordinary mystic techniques that he had yet to comprehend, so he could use the time to comprehend them. Just like that, the two of them waited in the vicinity for a full year. They had no choice but to wait for a while to be on the safe side. Over the past year, the number of people at the departure point had not decreased but increased. Although some people had already set off and entered the core region, even more people were gathering from all directions. Most of these people didn't have a tribulation crossing airship. Lu Ming and Yi Ling heard from the people who came later that there seemed to be no trace of the heavenly human tribe in the place where they set off. The two of them speculated that the heavenly human tribe could not wait and had already entered the core area. At that moment, the two of them entered the departure point. Indeed, the two of them did not find any trace of the heavenly human tribe at the departure point. Let's go! The two of them headed directly to the place where the adversity crossing flying boat was absorbing energy. At the departure point, near the adversity crossing sea, there were huge pillars. These pillars were very thick and had a diameter of 1,000 meters. There were a total of more than a dozen pillars. The bottom of these pillars was connected to the depths of the earth and could absorb a special kind of energy from the depths of the earth. In order to activate the adversity crossing flying boat, one had to first place it on a stone pillar and absorb that kind of energy from the stone pillar. Someone is also setting off? When Lu Ming and Yi Ling arrived, they discovered that there was already a adversity crossing flying boat parked on one of the stone pillars. The adversity crossing flying boat and the stone pillar emitted a hazy glow. They could clearly see that there was a continuous stream of energy flowing up the stone pillar and into the adversity crossing flying boat. This was the adversity crossing flying boat absorbing energy. There were many people around this area. Damn it, it's the traitors. It's a pity that the heavenly human tribe and the elites of the top 10 tribes have already entered the core area. Otherwise, they could have caught all these traitors in one fell swoop. The heavenly human tribe and the top 10 tribes have not left yet. Would these traitors dare to come out? These traitors would only dare to come out after the heavenly human tribe and the top 10 tribes have left. Discussions could be heard all around. Lu Ming and Yi Ling flew directly towards a stone pillar. No one recognized Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Those who could recognize Lu Ming from his life origin aura were generally from the celestial race, the angel race, and a few other races. Very few people from other races had seen Lu Ming before. Lu Ming and Qin Lai landed on one of the stone pillars. It's Tian Xinyu and the others. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. On the deck of the crossing adversity airship, there were many people, about 200 of them. One of them was dazzling. If it wasn't Tian Xinyu, who else could it be? And Flying Leaf. Then, Lu Ming saw a few familiar faces. Some of them were really Fei Yi and the others. Back then, Lu Ming had saved them, but they had chased away Lu Ming. At this moment, Tian Xinyu, Fei Yi, and the others had also noticed Lu Ming and Yi Ling. They had memorized each other's life origin aura and could recognize each other at a glance. This guy is still alive. Fei Yi's eyes turned cold, and a murderous intent flashed in his heart. The entire heavenly palace was hunting Lu Ming, but Lu Ming was still alive. This surprised him. He had thought that Lu Ming had been killed by the people from the heavenly palace. So it's Yi Ling. Lu Ming must have relied on Yi Ling to escape. Yi Ling really likes to meddle in other people's business, Fei Yi thought unhappily. However, he didn't directly call out Lu Ming's name and expose Lu Ming's identity. After all, they were both members of the Heaven Destroyer, and there were many other members of the Heaven Destroyer around. If he deliberately exposed Lu Ming's identity in public, the Heaven Destroyer would definitely not tolerate him. Therefore, the two sides only glanced at each other silently and didn't greet each other. Hey, someone has climbed up the stone pillar. Could it be that they also have a disaster crossing airship? Maybe they really do have one? Many people whispered, and many people's eyes lit up. With a disaster crossing airship, it meant that they could enter the core area. Looking at Lu Ming and Yi Ling, there were only two of them. A disaster crossing airship could carry more than 200 people. They could take it. This was why they were waiting around. At this moment, Lu Ming waved his hand, and a disaster crossing airship flew out and landed on the stone pillar. As soon as the disaster crossing airship landed on the stone pillar, it stuck to the stone pillar and resonated with it. Buzz. The stone pillar and the disaster crossing airship hummed softly, and runes appeared on them. Then the bottom of the stone pillar lit up, and energy was being absorbed. A hazy glow surged into the disaster crossing airship, causing it to be shrouded in a layer of hazy glow. The disaster crossing airship began to absorb the special energy underground. Lu Ming and Yi Ling moved and stepped into the disaster crossing airship. Is it really the disaster crossing airship? There are only two of them. We have a chance. Many people's eyes lit up, and then they flew toward the stone pillar. Lu Ming used his mind, and a layer of light appeared on the disaster crossing airship, blocking the people outside. During this time, Lu Ming had already refined the disaster crossing airship. Now that it had energy, it could be activated at will. You two, there are only two of you, right? The disaster crossing airship can carry more than 200 people. Let us on, give us a ride. Yes, give us a ride. We will remember your kindness. I'm from the Sky Ear race. If you have any problems in the future, you can look for me. The surrounding people spoke one after another, either begging, tempting, or making promises. It was noisy. There are so many of you. We can't carry all of you. Lu Ming smiled casually. There were at least a few thousand people around, and all of them wanted to come up. How could they carry all of them? Give me a ride, just give me a ride. I won't forget your kindness. I'll definitely repay you in the future. You can repay me, but I can't. I will repay you tenfold. I'm from the Sky Ear race. Get lost. The Sky Ear race is nothing. I'm from the Cloud Moon race. What did you say? How dare you insult me? You're courting death. You're the one courting death. The outside of the disaster crossing airship was noisy, and the smell of gunpowder was strong. It looked like a fight was about to break out. All right, stop arguing. If you want to board the disaster crossing airship, you have to pay a price. How about this? 20,000 desolation pills per person. As long as you take out 20,000 desolation pills, you can board the disaster crossing airship and be sent to the core region. Lu Ming said. The scene was silent, and then there was a commotion. What? 20,000 desolation pills per person? That's too expensive. Why don't you go rob someone? Yeah, it's too expensive. I can't take it out at all. Everyone shouted. Chapter 43-36. Is 20,000 Great Desolation Pills expensive? You should know that the Great Desolation Chi in the core area is extremely dense. As long as you have a cauldron, you can easily refine 20,000 Great Desolation Pills. It's totally worth it. Lu Ming said with a smile, looking amiable and amiable. In any case, there were only the two of them. If the crossing adversity flying boat could be empty, it was fine. If they could earn more desolate pills, why not? But I really don't have that many Great Desolation pills. The Great Desolation pills I refined aren't enough for me to refine. I'm even worse off. I don't even have a cauldron. I have to guard other people's cauldrons to earn some Great Desolation pills. They've already been used up. Me too. Many people were crying and begging, but Lu Ming didn't care. He didn't believe that there wouldn't be anyone who could pay 20,000 Great Desolation pills. I'll pay 20,000 Great Desolation pills. I want a spot. I want a spot too. As expected, someone bid. Give me the Great Desolation pills first, Lu Ming said. Then he opened a gap in the barrier of the crossing adversity airship. A burly man stepped out. With a wave of his hand, a storage ring flew into the gap. Lu Ming took the storage ring and scanned it with his spiritual senses. He discovered that there were indeed 20,000 desolation pills inside. You can come in. Lu Ming nodded. He opened the barrier of the crossing adversity airship even wider. It was big enough for one person to pass through. The muscular man was delighted. His figure flickered as he entered the crossing adversity airship through the gap and landed on the deck. Good chance. You want my Great Desolation pills? Dream on. At that moment, a skinny figure suddenly rushed out of the crowd and rushed towards the gap. He was extremely fast, like a flash of lightning. His cultivation was also very high, at the 6th Great Supreme God layer. He didn't want to pay 20,000 Great Desolation pills. He wanted to enter the crossing adversity airship through the gap. Lu Ming didn't seem to have time to close the gap. In a flash, that person was about to enter the gap. Haha, as long as I enter, not only will I not have to pay the Great Desolation pills, but the crossing adversity airship will also be mine. The skinny man's eyes flashed with a savage light. Not only did he not want to pay 20,000 desolation pills, but he also wanted to kill Lu Ming and Yi Ling and take the crossing adversity airship. He was very confident in his own strength. Now, the desolation airship, the desolation pills airship, the airship is the desolation realm. In the next moment, he entered the crossing adversity airship. At that moment, a ray desolation pill. So desolation Asian on. Desolation pill desolation. Is. As desolation. Would. P it. S there was. Body, tease. Many people gasped. Many people recognized the skinny man. They knew that he was very strong. With so many experts in the desolation airship, not many were his match. They did not expect him to be killed in a second as soon as he entered the crossing adversity airship. Everyone looked at Yi Ling with fear. Yi Ling's strength was too terrifying. At the same time, they looked at Lu Ming with even more solemn eyes. Obviously, between Lu Ming and Yi Ling, Lu Ming was the leader. If Yi Ling was so terrifying, then what about Lu Ming? Some of the people who originally had bad intentions immediately dispelled those bad thoughts. 20,000 desolation pills for one spot. It's still valid. If anyone has evil thoughts, they'll end up like them. Lu Ming said coldly. I'll use 20,000 desolation pills for one spot. Me too. This time, no one dared to play any tricks. They all took out 20,000 desolation pills and gave them to Lu Ming before entering the crossing adversity airship. There were more and more people in the crossing adversity airship. Lu Ming and the others also gained more and more. Some people, even if they did not have 20,000 desolation pills, would try their best to get more from others. Soon, there were 200 people on Lu Ming's crossing adversity airship. 200 people. Lu Ming got 4 million desolation pills. After splitting them equally with Yi Ling, each of them got 2 million. This was a windfall. Although it could not help Lu Ming break through, it was still a huge fortune. Buzz. At this moment, Tianxian Yu's tribulation crossing airship emitted a buzzing sound. Shrouded in a mysterious light, it rushed into the vast tribulation crossing ocean. It was Tianxian Yu and the others. They had already set off. Lu Ming and the others were not that fast. The crossing adversity airship was very vast. The crossing adversity airship had to absorb enough energy to cross the crossing adversity airship. Therefore, it would take some time. Everyone is here. Everyone else, please go back, Lu Ming said and closed the barrier of the crossing adversity airship. Many people sighed. They could only go back and wait to see if anyone else had a crossing adversity airship. The 200 people who had boarded the crossing adversity airship were overjoyed. The earlier they entered the core area, the more opportunities they would have and the more desolation pills they would get. Time flew by. Soon a day had passed. At this time, the crossing adversity airship finally had enough energy. Rise! Lu Ming shouted. The crossing adversity airship shook and was enveloped by a layer of mysterious light. Then it shot into the sky, rushed into the vast crossing adversity airship, and disappeared before everyone's eyes. The crossing adversity airship was very vast. Black fog filled the air. Lu Ming and the others stood on the deck and looked into the distance. However, their vision was greatly obstructed. The black fog blocked their line of sight. No one dared to underestimate this black fog. This black fog was very terrifying. According to the records, this black fog was terrifyingly corrosive. It could corrode everything. Divine power, secret techniques, and even all kinds of weapons. Once a living being stepped into the crossing adversity airship, they would be corroded by this black fog. Although they would not be corroded by the black fog and die immediately, ordinary emperor gods would be able to withstand it for a while. However, the crossing adversity airship was too vast. No one could last that long and cross the entire crossing adversity airship. Under the continuous corrosion of the black fog, they would eventually run out of energy and die. Unless it was a divine master expert. However, divine master realm powerhouses couldn't enter this level. In addition, there was an even more terrifying existence in the crossing adversity airship. It was called the crossing adversity ghost. The crossing adversity ghost was even more terrifying. Once one encountered it, only death would await. Chapter 43-37. Without the crossing adversity airship, no emperor god would be able to cross the adversity-avoiding ocean. The crossing adversity airship flew at an extremely fast speed towards the other side of the adversity-avoiding ocean. With the crossing adversity airship speed, it would take about 7 days to cross the entire adversity-avoiding ocean and enter the core region. Time flew by quickly. 2 days had passed in the blink of an eye. They had already traveled an unknown distance. Whoosh whoosh. The black fog in front of them suddenly began to churn. Then, a huge monster appeared in front of them. It was a black creature. Its body was like a worm, but there were many arms around its body. It kept grabbing at the air as if it wanted to crush something. The most terrifying thing was the creature's head. There was a human face there. Its facial features were distorted and it looked ferocious like an evil spirit. This is the crossing adversity ghost. Someone exclaimed in surprise and sucked in a breath of cold air. That's right. This was the most terrifying existence in the adversity-avoiding ocean, the crossing adversity ghost. The black fog in the adversity-avoiding ocean wasn't the most terrifying. Most people could withstand it for a while. However, if they encountered the crossing adversity ghost, they would die. Even a peak emperor god wouldn't stand a chance against the crossing adversity ghost. The crossing adversity ghost was huge and it was about 100 meters long. It flew towards the crossing adversity airship. Everyone's hearts couldn't help but rise to their throats. Even though they had the crossing adversity airship, they were still nervous. The crossing adversity ghost flew nearby and circled around the crossing adversity airship. Its pair of cold eyes kept scanning the crowd. Some people felt goosebumps all over their bodies when they were swept by this cold gaze. The crossing adversity airship glowed and continued to fly forward. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The crossing adversity ghost let out an ear-piercing squeak and charged towards the crowd. Some people who weren't mentally strong couldn't help but circulate their divine power and get ready for battle. Lu Ming and Yi Ling stood quietly at the bow of the airship. Their faces were calm and their eyes were motionless. When the crossing adversity airship got close and came into contact with the light emitted by the crossing adversity airship, It let out a sizzling sound. It was like ice melting when it came into contact with fire. Black smoke came out of the crossing adversity ghost's body. The crossing disaster ghost shrieked as a look of fear appeared in its eyes, and it quickly retreated. Everyone saw that the crossing disaster ghost's body seemed to have shrunk due to the influence of the crossing disaster airship's light. Many people breathed a sigh of relief. As expected, they were safe inside the crossing adversity airship. Not only could the crossing adversity airship block the black fog outside, it could also block the crossing adversity ghost. The crossing disaster ghost let out an ear-piercing shriek. It circled the crossing disaster airship a few times before flying off into the distance. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared into the black fog. Everyone was finally able to put down a huge rock in their hearts. The Calamity Crossing airship continued to fly forward. In the following period of time, they encountered the Calamity Crossing ghosts a few more times. But in the end, they were all scared off by the Adversity Crossing flying boat. Very quickly, for days passed. They had already covered more than half of the journey. In another 3 days, they would be able to completely cross the adversity-avoiding sea and enter the core region. What's that? Suddenly, someone exclaimed and pointed to the left. Everyone's gaze also turned in that direction. On the left, there was a ray of light that could be seen even through the black fog. Moreover, it was also moving and seemed to be synchronized with Lu Ming's crossing disaster airship. As Lu Ming's crossing disaster airship flew forward, the ball of light also moved forward. It was always on the left side of Lu Ming's group. "Look, there's one on the right too," someone shouted. Indeed, everyone saw a ball of light on the right too. It was also moving with Lu Ming's group at about the same speed. Lu Ming frowned. He had a bad premonition in his heart. "Lu Ming, can you see it clearly too? I have a bad feeling." Yi Ling sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. He had a similar feeling as well. Geniuses were usually extremely sensitive to danger. "The fog is too thick. I can't see it clearly either." Lu Ming shook his head with a grave expression. Suddenly, his eyes widened and he looked ahead. At this moment, there was also a ball of light in front of them. With a thought from Lu Ming, the speed of the crossing disaster airship rapidly slowed down and finally came to a stop. The moment they stopped, the 2 balls of light on the left and right also stopped. There was a commotion in the crossing disaster airship. Many people felt a little uneasy and the atmosphere became a little tense. The ball of light in front became clearer and clearer. Gradually, everyone could see what it was. It was a crossing disaster airship. That's right, it was also a crossing disaster airship that was flying in front of them. Could it be that it was returning from the core area? The crossing disaster airship in front became clearer and clearer until it completely appeared in front of them. It's the heavenly human tribe. Lu Ming and Yi Ling's eyes suddenly narrowed. They could clearly see that there were some people standing on the deck of the crossing disaster airship in front. Those people were all from the heavenly human tribe. It's the heavenly human tribe. I thought it was something else? I'm so scared. Seeing that it was the heavenly human tribe, the people on the crossing disaster airship heaved a sigh of relief. The heavenly human tribe would not attack them for no reason. "Look, there are also crossing disaster airships on the left and right," someone shouted. At that moment, the 2 balls of light on the left and right became clearer and clearer. Then, 2 more crossing disaster airships appeared. Unsurprisingly, there were also people from the heavenly human tribe on these 2 crossing disaster airships. "The heavenly human tribe is actually waiting for us here." Yi Ling's face was extremely solemn. "This is a little troublesome. There are probably some people who have already entered the core area," Lu Ming muttered. A group of top experts from the heavenly human tribe had already entered the core area to seize the opportunities. There were definitely cultivators of the 8th or 9th great supreme god layer in there. Among the younger generation, there might not be such a high cultivation level, but among the middle-aged generation, there definitely were. "So it's the heavenly human tribe. May I know what you are doing here?" On Lu Ming's crossing disaster airship, a young man cupped his fists and said respectfully, "We are waiting for you here." A burly man from the heavenly human tribe said coldly, He looked at Lu Ming and Yi Ling, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Lu Ming knew this burly man. He was one of the experts who had tried to kill Lu Ming and Yi Ling. When Tian Shenyu arrived, they managed to kill him and he fled. Waiting for us? Many people were a little confused. To be precise, we are waiting for the two of them. The burly man from the heavenly human tribe pointed at Lu Ming and Yi Ling. On the deck, 200 pairs of eyes looked at Lu Ming and Yi Ling, full of doubts. Perhaps you still don't know who they are? The two of them are traitors. The burly man from the heavenly human tribe said. Chapter 43:38. What? They are traitors? The 200 people on the deck were shocked when they heard what the heavenly human tribe man had said. They moved away from Lu Ming and Yi Ling and looked at them coldly. They are not only traitors. Do you know who he is? He is Mu Yun. If you kill him, you can become the son of heaven or the daughter of heaven. The heavenly human tribe man added. After saying those words, the heavenly human clan's robust man stopped speaking and stopped. He knew that he didn't need to say anything because he knew what was going to happen next. As expected, when the 200 people on Lu Ming's crossing adversity airship heard that Lu Ming was Mu Yun, they started breathing heavily. Their eyes were filled with greed and killing intent. They would never have thought that the young man with them was Mu Yun, the person that the heavenly palace wanted to kill. As long as he could kill him, he could become the son of heaven or daughter of heaven of the celestial palace. He could become a dragon with a single leap and achieve a meteoric rise, changing his future fate. However, when their gazes fell on Yi Ling, fear appeared in their eyes. Yi Ling had fought before and his strength was astonishing. Let's attack together. No matter how strong he is, it will be useless. That's right. Let's attack together. In the chaos, whoever kills Mu Yun will get the credit. Yes, kill. Many people shouted. In the end, they couldn't resist the temptation of becoming the son of heaven or the daughter of heaven. Their minds were filled with greed. They recklessly attacked Lu Ming and Yi Ling. 200 people. At least 100 of them charged toward Lu Ming. You're courting death. Lu Ming and Yi Ling's eyes glittered coldly. Swoosh swoosh. Lu Ming condensed a long spear with the taboo power in his hands. He cast the heaven-breaking style and activated his combat power to the maximum. Rays of spear light burst forth and charged towards these people. At the same time, Yi Ling also attacked. Dazzling sword lights filled the sky. Although there were many experts among the 100 people who had attacked him and many of them were at the 6th layer of the Emperor God realm, none of them could threaten Lu Ming. Although there were only 2 of them, Lu Ming and Yi Ling's attacks were even more ferocious and powerful than those of over 100 people. When the attacks of both sides collided, the attacks of over 100 people were defeated. All pitiful cries rang out one after another as people were pierced by the spear light or the sword light, dying on the spot. Kill. Lu Ming and Yi Ling shouted coldly and rushed out. All kinds of attacks poured out like a storm. I know. Spare me. Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. The remaining people shouted crazily. They were scared out of their wits. Yi Ling's combat power had completely exceeded their expectations. It was even more terrifying than they had imagined. However, the most terrifying one was still Lu Ming. Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the 5th Great Supreme God layer, but his combat power was not weaker than Yi Ling's. Even though there were more than 100 people attacking, they could not withstand a single blow. Lu Ming and Yi Ling did not show any mercy. They kept attacking with all kinds of killing moves. One by one they were killed. In an instant, there were more than 100 corpses on the deck. Blood dyed the crossing adversity airship red. There were still 80 or 90 people left. Those who had not attacked before were dumbfounded. They were completely terrified. Their bodies were trembling and their lips were trembling. Their eyes were wide open and they were filled with fear. Spare me. These people begged for mercy. Get out of the crossing adversity airship. Lu Ming said coldly. Let's go to the heavenly human tribe's crossing adversity airship. Let's go. The remaining 80 or 90 people rushed out crazily towards the 3 heavenly human tribes crossing adversity airships. The 3 heavenly human tribes crossing adversity airships were not full. There were less than 100 people on each of the airships. In an instant, Lu Ming's crossing adversity airship was empty except for Lu Ming and Yi Ling. These people flew towards the 3 heavenly human tribes crossing adversity airships. The black fog rushed towards these people. These people activated their divine power and set up layers of defense around their bodies to resist the corrosion of the black fog. Although the black fog was terrifying, they could still resist it for a while with their cultivation. They quickly approached the 3 heavenly human tribes crossing adversity airships. Lords of the heavenly human tribe, please let us board the airships. Please let us board the airships. We can't resist for long. These people begged. Humph, a bunch of trash. You want to board the airship? You can fend for yourselves outside. A strong man from the heavenly human tribe shouted coldly. As soon as he said that, the expressions of these people changed drastically. Was the heavenly human tribe not letting them board the airships? If they were not allowed to board the airships, they would die. Lords, please do me a favor and let me board the airships. I will not forget your great kindness. Please, let me board the airships. I'm willing to be your slave in the future. Many people shouted. However, the heavenly human tribes crossing adversity airships were indifferent and unmoved. Many people looked desperate. Let me board, let me board. Finally, some people went crazy and rushed towards the heavenly human tribes crossing adversity airship. They wanted to use brute force to board the airships. Courting death. Someone from the heavenly human tribe shouted coldly and attacked. The person who attacked was extremely powerful. These people could not resist at all. In an instant, dozens of people were killed. Then, their corpses were corroded by the black fog and turned into nothingness. The remaining people were desperate and rushed towards Lu Ming's crossing adversity airship. Let's go! At this moment, Lu Ming shouted and controlled the crossing adversity airship to fly to the back in an attempt to escape. This time, the heavenly human tribe came prepared and definitely sent out a terrifying expert. It was very dangerous for them to fight head-on. However, the heavenly human tribe was already prepared. When Lu Ming and the others retreated, the 3 crossing adversity airships of the heavenly human tribe also moved and chased after Lu Ming and the others. The remaining people were left behind, and they let out cries of despair. However, no one cared about them. Lu Ming controlled the crossing adversity airship with all his strength, but the heavenly human tribe's crossing adversity airship chased after them relentlessly. Moreover, the distance between the 2 parties was slowly closing. Lu Ming, you can't escape. Be obedient and accept your death. A cold voice came from one of the crossing adversity airships. However, Lu Ming and Yi Ling did not say a word and only cared about escaping. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, 2 figures rushed out from each of the 3 crossing adversity airships. They were 6 burly men from the heavenly human tribe. They were very fast, even faster than the crossing adversity airship. They quickly approached Lu Ming and the others. Their 9th layer divine gods. Yi Ling exclaimed and his face changed drastically. Lu Ming's face also changed drastically. The other party had indeed sent out terrifying experts. 6 9th layer divine gods. Chapter 43-39. 9th layer Emperor God realm cultivators were much stronger than them. Most importantly, they were not ordinary 9th layer Emperor God realm cultivators. Any one of them from the heavenly human tribe had at least 2 stars of fighting strength. These 6 strong men had reached the 9th layer Emperor God realm at such a young age. How could they only have 2 stars of fighting strength? This was a combat strength that they could not resist. Do you think you can survive by hiding in the crossing adversity airship? How naive! Brave. The 6 experts from the heavenly human tribe shouted and attacked at the same time. Some of them held spears, some held swords. 6 attacks were launched at Lu Ming and the others at the same time. All of them have mastered the strongest heavenly force. Lu Ming and Yi Ling's faces turned solemn. These 6 strong men were obviously the geniuses of the heavenly human tribe. They had mastered one of the 4 strongest heavenly forces of the heavenly human tribe. Some of them had mastered the heavenly punishment force, while others had mastered the heavenly punishment force. Although their mastery of the heavenly human tribe was not very high, it was enough to make their fighting strength terrifying. Lu Ming and Yi Ling were well aware that the 2 of them were definitely not a match for any one of them. They would be killed in seconds. Boom, boom, boom. The attacks from the 6 of them hit the barrier of the crossing adversity airship, causing it to shake violently. The barrier of the crossing adversity airship was distorted as if it was going to collapse at any time. Oh no, we can't block them. Lu Ming and Yi Ling's heart sank. The main function of the crossing adversity airship was to block the black fog outside and to deter the crossing adversity ghosts. Although it had defensive strength, it was not strong. Its defensive power was limited against the attacks of other living beings. Ordinary experts could naturally defend against it. However, the 6 experts from the heavenly human tribe were too strong. The crossing adversity airship's defense could not block them at all. However, Lu Ming did not give up. He continued to control the crossing adversity airship and flew rapidly in a direction. Lu Ming flew in that direction because he remembered that there was a crossing adversity ghost in that direction. As long as they encountered the disaster-avoiding ghost, the 6 robust celestial race men would definitely not dare to continue attacking and would be scared off. However, the attacks of the 6 top powers from the heavenly human tribe rained down like a torrential storm. The crossing adversity airship shook even more violently and cracks appeared on the surrounding barrier. He was about to be unable to hold on any longer. Lu Ming and Yi Ling's bodies were tense. They were ready to fight at any moment. Creak, 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 an ear-piercing sound came from the front, causing Lu Ming and Yi Ling's eyes to light up. However, the 6 heavenly human tribe elites' expressions changed drastically. The ghost of disaster averting. This voice was emitted by the crossing disaster ghost. In the past, Lu Ming hated this kind of sound, but now, he was incomparably happy. Lu Ming looked behind him and saw a huge avoiding disaster ghost wandering around. When it saw Lu Ming and the others, it flew towards them. Hurry up and destroy their crossing adversity airship. A brawny heavenly human tribe man roared as he pushed his battle prowess to the extreme. The 6 brawny heavenly human tribe men unleashed their strongest attack at the same time. They even burned a portion of their heavenly force. Boom, boom, boom. This time, the 6 attacks were even more terrifying. They bombarded the barrier of the crossing adversity airship at the same time. Most importantly, the 6 attacks were still bombarding the same spot. The pressure caused was too strong. This time, the barrier of the crossing adversity airship could no longer withstand the attacks and collapsed directly. Oh no! Lu Ming and Yi Ling were shocked. Lu Ming used all his strength to control the crossing adversity airship that had no barrier and continued to fly towards the crossing disaster ghost. Kill! The 6 heavenly human tribe elites naturally knew that this was a critical moment. If Lu Ming and Yi Ling were to get close to the crossing disaster ghost in the crossing adversity airship, the situation would change. Therefore, the 6 heavenly human tribe elites attacked with all their might. 6 terrifying attacks were directed at Lu Ming and Yi Ling, trying to kill the 2 of them in one fell swoop. In the face of such terrifying attacks, Lu Ming and Yi Ling found it difficult to block them. At the critical moment, Lu Ming controlled the crossing adversity airship to tilt over and protect the 2 of them. Dang dang dang. The 6 attacks all bombarded the crossing adversity airship. The crossing adversity airship shook violently. Cracks appeared on the surface of the crossing adversity airship. The crossing adversity airship was originally made up of 9 different parts. These cracks were the gaps between the 9 parts. At this moment, after being attacked violently, the parts where the parts were glued together began to crack and were about to separate. Finally, with a bang, a few parts could no longer be glued together and were sent flying by the powerful force. Lu Ming and Yi Ling hurriedly attacked, trying to grab hold of these parts. However, the 6 heavenly human tribe elites also attacked. Although Lu Ming and Yi Ling were closer to these parts, one of the parts still fell into the hands of the heavenly human tribe. At this moment, they were very close to the crossing disaster ghost. Squeak, 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 the crossing disaster ghost shrieked and let out an ear-piercing sound. It emitted a terrifying aura that made Lu Ming, Yi Ling, and the 6 heavenly human tribe elites shiver. Especially the 6 heavenly human tribe elites. They did not have any treasures that could intimidate the crossing disaster ghost. On the other hand, Lu Ming and the other half of the broken crossing adversity airship were still shining brightly. The crossing disaster ghost looked at the 6 heavenly human tribe elites with a ferocious gaze. Its huge body pounced on them directly. Oh no! Quickly retreat to the crossing adversity airship. Their crossing adversity airship is no longer complete. One of the parts has fallen into our hands. Their crossing adversity airship will soon disintegrate. When that time comes, only death will await us. The 6 heavenly human tribe elites quickly exchanged a few words. Then, they quickly retreated and rushed back to their crossing adversity airship. As for their crossing adversity airship, they quickly rushed over. Before the crossing disaster ghost pounced on them, the 6 heavenly human tribe elites had already returned to the crossing adversity airship. Anyway, one of the parts of Lu Ming's crossing adversity airship had already fallen into their hands. Soon, their crossing adversity airship would disintegrate. The crossing disaster ghost approached the crossing adversity airship of the heavenly human tribe. It was afraid of the light emitted by the crossing adversity airship. After circling it a few times, it screeched a few times. Then, it turned around and rushed toward Lu Ming and the others. At this moment, Lu Ming's crossing adversity airship was indeed disintegrating. Piece by piece, the parts flew out and were caught by Lu Ming and Yi Ling. As for the calamity-avoiding ghost, it quickly flew toward Lu Ming and the rest. The two of them looked extremely grim. The crossing disaster ghost was extremely terrifying. If they were caught by it, only death would await them. Although the two of them tried their best to fly, the crossing disaster ghost was faster and was rapidly approaching them. Let's see how they'll die. On the 3 crossing adversity airships, the heavenly human tribe members sneered. Now, they were no longer in a hurry. They controlled the crossing adversity airship unhurriedly and followed from a distance. They wanted to enjoy the fear on Lu Ming and Yi Ling's faces. Chapter 4340. The avoiding disaster ghost quickly approached Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Its cold and terrifying aura gave them goosebumps. Their muscles tensed up involuntarily. This was a natural reaction when encountering a terrifying danger. Use the parts of the crossing disaster airship before it completely fades away, Lu Ming shouted softly. He grabbed a part of the crossing disaster airship and threw it at the avoiding disaster ghost. The crossing disaster airship had just disintegrated. The parts of the crossing disaster airship were still emitting a mysterious light and had not completely dissipated. They should still have a restraining effect on the avoiding disaster ghost. If the mysterious light on these parts completely dissipated, they would no longer have any restraining effect on the avoiding disaster ghost. Then they would be in real danger. Swoosh! A part of the crossing disaster airship flew toward the avoiding disaster ghost. Sure enough, the avoiding disaster ghost showed a look of fear. It did not dare to charge straight at them. Instead, it flew horizontally, changed directions, and charged at them again. Lu Ming and Yi Ling grabbed the remaining parts and threw them all out. They filled a large area and completely blocked the avoiding disaster ghost's path. Then the two of them took the opportunity to speed up to the maximum and charged into the distance. Lu Ming used the greater extreme light skill and his speed was astonishing. However, Yi Ling's speed was not slow either. He flew through the air like a beam of sword light. The two of them flashed a few times and disappeared into the thick black fog. Damn it, Chase. If he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his corpse. On the 3-headed crossing disaster airship, a member of the heavenly human tribe shouted angrily. He controlled the crossing disaster airship and charged in the direction that Lu Ming and Yi Ling had escaped. The avoiding disaster ghost sensed the light on the crossing disaster airship and showed a look of fear. It did not dare to stop them and hurriedly moved aside. The Heavenly Human Tribe's crossing disaster airship rushed past and collected all the parts of Lu Ming's crossing disaster airship. They rushed in the direction that Lu Ming and Yi Ling had escaped at the fastest speed. Unfortunately, after chasing for some time, they could not find any trace of Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Damn it, let's split up and chase. They can't have gone far. A burly Heavenly Human Tribe man shouted angrily. The three crossing adversity airships spread out and searched along the way. However, after a few hours, there was still no sign of Lu Ming and his companion. The three tribulation crossing airships gathered at the same place. The Heavenly Human Tribe cultivators on the airships all had dark expressions on their faces. They don't have the crossing adversity ferry boat, so they're dead for sure. It's a pity that we can't bring Lu Ming's body back. A muscular man from the Heavenly Human race sighed. Without the protection of the Calamity Crossing airship, one would definitely die in the Calamity Crossing sea. They did not doubt this. However, they lacked Lu Ming's corpse, so they couldn't bring it back to claim credit. If they did, their contributions would be greatly reduced. That was why many Celestial Clan members sighed. No matter what, Lu Ming died because he was hunted down by us. This is also meritorious service. If we split the credit equally, we can also obtain a lot of benefits. Another Heavenly Human said. Only then did everyone feel a little better. Let's go back. Then, the three adversity crossing airships left and headed towards the core area. Some time after the three adversity crossing airships left, two figures appeared in a pile of rocks in a certain area. They were Lu Ming and Yi Ling. The power that the two of them controlled was not to be underestimated. Although the surrounding black mist was corrosive, the two of them had no problem holding out for about a day. However, the two of them did not look good. Even if the two of them could hold out for a day, it was simply not enough. They were still very far away from the core area. Even if the two of them flew at full speed, they would need at least 2 days to reach the core area. There was simply not enough time. As for retreating, it was simply impossible. They would have to retreat even further. This was under the condition that they had not encountered the Calamity Crossing Ghost. If they encountered the Calamity Crossing Ghost, it would be even more dangerous. However, the two of them had no way out. Now, they had to bite the bullet and fly towards the core area. They could only take one step at a time. Let's go, Lu Ming said. The two of them nodded and flew towards the core area together. Of course, they could also avoid the direction that the Heavenly Human race was heading in and go in another direction. The black mist between heaven and earth seemed to have a mind of its own as it constantly surged towards Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Lu Ming used the forbidden power to lay down layers of defense around his body. When the black mist came into contact with the forbidden power, it made a sizzling sound. Even though the taboo power was able to keep the black fog at bay, it was being consumed at an alarming rate. The power that Yi Ling controlled was not as strong as the forbidden power. However, his cultivation was one level higher than Lu Ming's and the difficulty of blocking it was about the same as Lu Ming's. After a few hours, the two of them felt that a large portion of the power in their bodies had been consumed. They had been hiding for a few hours and flying for a few more hours. They felt that they could hold out for another 20 hours or so at most. After 20 hours, their power would be exhausted and they would be corroded by the black mist. Chi. Suddenly, a piercing sound came from the right side of Lu Ming and Yi Ling. When they heard this sound, the two of them had a drastic change in expression and became very ugly. The Calamity Crossing Ghost. This was the voice of the Calamity Crossing Ghost. What one did not want to see had happened. Whoosh whoosh. To their right, the black mist churned, and a colossal being appeared. It was the Calamity Crossing Ghost. The Calamity Crossing Ghost looked at Lu Ming and Yi Ling with a ferocious gaze. It let out a piercing shriek and pounced on Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Let's go. The two of them immediately flew to the left. This was because the distance between them was the furthest in this direction. If they flew in other directions, the distance would be closer. Behind them, the Calamity Crossing Ghost chased after Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Its speed was faster than Lu Ming and Yi Ling. The distance between them was constantly closing. We're in trouble. Their hearts began to sink. A few minutes later, the distance between them was even closer. At this rate, they would be caught in a few minutes. Damn it. Let's see if it works. At this time, Yiling took out a disc array and activated it. He wanted to see if it could deal with the Calamity Crossing ghost. This aura, it seems to be a treasure from the previous era. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. In the grand supreme immortal city, the divine weapons and treasures from the primitive universe could not be used. However, the disc array in Yiling's hand did not seem to be a treasure from the primitive universe. I obtained this disc array from a certain ruin in the universe. It should be an item from the previous era and is not restricted by the restrictions here, Yiling explained. The disc array shone and the light shone on the Calamity Crossing ghost. The Calamity Crossing ghost's eyes began to flicker a few times. Then, it continued to charge over and knocked the disc array away. It was useless. It was completely useless. Yiling's face turned even uglier. He originally wanted to try an item from the previous era to see if it could restrain the Calamity Crossing ghost. In the end, it was useless. Chapter 43-41. The distance between the avoiding disaster ghost and Lu Ming was getting closer and closer. The terrifying and cold aura made the two of them tense up. They felt a chill in their hearts, as if an extremely cold blade was cutting into their skin. The sense of danger was getting stronger and stronger. Let's try using the purple copper coffin. Lu Ming thought to himself. In the grand supreme immortal city, the treasures of the primitive universe could not be used. However, the purple copper coffin was different from other divine weapons. Lu Ming took out the purple copper coffin not to activate the power of the purple copper coffin itself, but to open it and let the primitive divine spirit inside deal with the avoiding disaster ghost. However, there was a crucial point, and that was that the primitive divine spirit in the purple copper coffin had a cultivation realm far above that of an emperor god. It was likely to be a master god level primitive divine spirit. Would it be suppressed by the laws of the supreme immortal city? After all, beings above the emperor god level could not enter the second level of the grand supreme immortal city. Therefore, Lu Ming did not take out the purple copper coffin because he was not sure if it would work. If it did not, it would be a waste of time. However, at this time, Lu Ming had no choice but to take it out and give it a try. There's a forest in front. Let's go in and take a look. Yiling said at this time. Lu Ming saw it too. There was a forest in front of them. The forest was so vast that they could not see the end of it. In the forest, there were all kinds of pitch-black trees. These trees were extremely huge. Each of them was more than 10,000 meters tall. Whether it was the branches or the leaves, they were all pitch black. The branches were twisted into strange shapes and looked extremely strange. Moreover, the two of them vaguely felt a dangerous aura from the forest. However, no matter how dangerous it was, could it be more dangerous than the avoiding disaster ghost? Perhaps the danger in the forest could help them escape? Lu Ming temporarily suppressed the idea of taking out the purple copper coffin. He and Yiling flew toward the forest at full speed and plunged into the forest. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The avoiding disaster ghost screeched and stopped. It looked hesitant but did not rush into the forest in the end. The danger of the avoiding disaster ghost was resolved. However, Lu Ming and Yiling were still worried. To be able to make the calamity-avoiding ghost stop in its tracks, and even cause it to be afraid of it, this forest was definitely not to be underestimated. Could there be something even more terrifying than the calamity-avoiding ghost? Hiss! As if in response to Lu Ming and Yiling's worries, a faint sound came from the forest. The two of them focused their attention and looked towards the source of the sound. Then, a huge monster appeared in front of Lu Ming and the others. It was a giant snake. The giant snake was pitch black and incomparably huge. However, on the body of the giant snake, there were snake tails that looked like tentacles. It looked ferocious and terrifying. The most terrifying thing was the face of the giant snake. It was also a human face, but it was filled with a twisted horror. Just looking at it would make one's hair stand on end and a chill run down their spine. Disaster-avoiding ghost. Another disaster-avoiding ghost. There was actually a disaster-avoiding ghost in this forest, and it was different from the species that Lu Ming and the others had encountered before. The aura of this disaster-avoiding ghost seemed to be even more terrifying than the one outside. It was no wonder that the one outside did not dare to charge in. "Let's go!" The two of them did not hesitate and rushed towards the other side of the forest. Hiss! This snake-like disaster-avoiding ghost let out a snake-like cry. Its body twisted and rushed towards Lu Ming and Yi Ling at an extremely fast speed. Lu Ming and Yi Ling used their movement skills and went around the huge trees, rushing towards the other side of the forest. They wanted to rush out from the other side of the forest to avoid the two disaster-avoiding ghosts outside and inside the forest. However, they did not run far before their faces turned even uglier. That was because a faint sound came from a pitch-black tree beside them. Then, a snake-like disaster-avoiding ghost circled around the tree and slithered downwards. The eyes of the forest were fixed on Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Another one. The two of them were shocked. There were actually two snake-like disaster-avoiding ghosts in this forest. Without any hesitation, the two of them changed directions and rushed forward. However, after running a few steps, the two of them stopped. Their faces were pale. That was because another disaster-avoiding ghost had appeared in front of them. It was not just in front of them, but also on their left and right. Then, snake-like disaster-avoiding ghosts slithered over. Lu Ming and the others were surrounded. Lu Ming swept his gaze over and saw at least 8 disaster-avoiding ghosts. There were disaster-avoiding ghosts in all directions, surrounding them tightly. "We're done for." Yi Ling smiled bitterly. Even though he was a peerless demon who had experienced all kinds of situations and various life and death situations, he could not help but show a trace of despair at this moment. One disaster-avoiding ghost was not something they could fight against. If they were caught, they would definitely die. And now, there were a total of 8 disaster-avoiding ghosts surrounding them. They had no chance at all. Even if the Master God was here, he would probably die, let alone them. "We've barged into the lair of a disaster-avoiding ghost." Lu Ming smiled bitterly. At the same time, the purple copper coffin appeared in his hand. At this moment, he could only use the purple copper coffin to try his luck. Yi Ling's gaze fell on the purple copper coffin and he was looking forward to it. The Dabu body had great luck. It should not die just like that, right? Now, he could only rely on Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not hesitate. He pushed the lid of the purple copper coffin and a crack appeared on the purple copper coffin. A terrifying aura filled the air. Lu Ming continued to push and the crack on the purple copper coffin became bigger. Hiss! At this moment, the 8 disaster-avoiding ghosts pounced on Lu Ming. A roar came from the purple copper coffin and it shook the entire forest. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He could tell that this was the roar of the primordial divine spirit. This roar seemed to have shocked the disaster-avoiding ghosts. They could not help but stop and look at the purple copper coffin. Roars came from the purple copper coffin continuously. Then 2 arms covered in scales reached out from the crack. Following that, a head popped out as well. It was the primordial divine spirit that had appeared before. It was a Lord God-level primordial divine spirit. The primordial divine spirit's arms pushed against the sides of the purple copper coffin. He pushed with all his might and wanted to rush out of the purple copper coffin. But at this moment, something strange happened. In the void, a ray of light suddenly spread out. A circle of light appeared and pressed down on the primordial divine spirit. This light gave off a feeling of supremacy and eternity, as if it could suppress everything. It was as if all living beings and all things had to bow before this ray of light. Chapter 43-42. The light pressed down on the primordial divine spirit. The primordial divine spirit roared and struggled with all its might, as if it wanted to break through the suppression of the light and rush out of the purple copper coffin. However, the light was too strong. No matter how hard the primordial divine spirit tried, it did not budge. Instead, it continued to press down. The primordial divine spirit seemed to be unable to withstand it and was slowly pushed back into the purple copper coffin. At first, it was its head, then its arms. Slowly, it returned to the purple copper coffin and disappeared. Lu Ming and Yi Ling were dumbfounded. In particular, Lu Ming's heart was in turmoil. He was extremely shocked. He knew how powerful the primordial divine spirit was. It was an overgod-level primordial divine spirit, which was equivalent to the origin realm. It had once fought a fierce battle with the heavenly lord of the heavenly palace. Such a powerful existence had been pushed back into the purple copper coffin by a ray of light. It could not even come out. This ray of light was too terrifying. Was this the profundity of the Taishang Immortal City? The second level of the Taishang Immortal City did not allow beings above the Emperor God level to enter. Indeed, the primordial divine spirit could not come out of the purple copper coffin. Hiss! After the evil spirits saw the primordial divine spirit disappear, they screamed again. Their eyes were cold as they pounced on Lu Ming and Yi Ling. This is troublesome. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Even the purple copper coffin had lost its effect. He had no other means to deal with the current situation. If he were to face these evil spirits with his own strength, he would definitely die. Yi Ling, let's fight. Lu Ming said. All right, let's fight. Yi Ling nodded. They were not people who would admit defeat easily. Even if they knew they were no match for them, they would still fight. Falling in a great battle was the final destination of a cultivator, not dying in a cowardly manner. However, at this moment, there was a change in the situation. At this moment, the primordial divine spirit's aura in the purple copper coffin suddenly disappeared without a trace. Immediately, another aura appeared. It was a new aura, one that Lu Ming had never felt before. What surprised Lu Ming and Yi Ling was that this aura was similar to the light that had suppressed the primordial god spirit. They were both supreme, eternal, and unfathomable. As soon as this aura rushed out, it spread in all directions. Being struck by this aura, the bodies of the 8 disaster-avoiding ghosts abruptly stiffened. Furthermore, their bodies began to tremble and their eyes were filled with fear. After shrieking a few times, the 8 tribulation-avoiding ghosts turned around and fled, vanishing without a trace in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming and Yi Ling were dumbfounded. Especially Yi Ling. His mouth was wide open enough to fit a goose egg. Lu Ming, what else is in your bronze coffin other than a primordial divine spirit? Yi Ling could not help but ask. The fact that there was a terrifying primordial god in the purple copper coffin had already shocked Yi Ling. However, there seemed to be something else inside that was even more mysterious and terrifying. It was hard to guess what it was. Just an aura was enough to make the 8 crossing disaster ghosts disappear without a trace. I don't know either. Lu Ming said as he shook his head. He really did not know. Although he had obtained the purple copper coffin for a long time, he had always been unable to understand its mysteries. He always felt that the more he understood, the more mysterious it became. In the past, he had always thought that the purple copper coffin was the burial place of a primordial god spirit after it had fallen. However, the primordial god spirit that had appeared later was clearly not dead and was still alive. Moreover, there was a silk thread connected to the back of the primordial god spirit's head. It gave off a feeling that it was being controlled. Later on, the purple copper coffin had sucked Lu Ming's past body into it. There was still no news of it. Lu Ming could only sense that the past body was not dead and was still alive. Now, a new aura was emitted from the purple copper coffin. It was an aura that was somewhat similar to the one that had suppressed the primordial god spirit. There were more and more secrets about the purple copper coffin, and it was becoming more and more difficult to guess. That aura is very similar to that ray of light. That ray of light was formed by the ultimacy of the Grand Supreme Immortal City. The Grand Supreme Immortal City was left behind from the last era. Could your purple copper coffin also be a treasure from the last era? Yi Ling said. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. His words had awakened him from his dream. Yi Ling was right. Was the purple copper coffin really a treasure left behind from the last era? Was there an elite from the last era buried in it? However, what was the deal with the primordial god spirit? Why did it suck the past body into it? Lu Ming had more doubts in his heart. Let's not talk about it. Let's get out of here first. Lu Ming said, suppressing the doubts in his heart. It was not wise to stay in this place for long. Let's go. Yi Ling also nodded. This forest was obviously the nest of the disaster-avoiding ghost. The two of them rushed out of the forest. Soon, the two of them rushed out of the forest. However, as soon as the two of them rushed out of the forest, they heard a piercing scream. The disaster-avoiding ghost that had chased after them earlier appeared again and pounced on the two of them. This disaster-avoiding ghost had not left and had been wandering around the forest. As soon as Lu Ming and Yi Ling rushed out of the forest, they were sensed. However, Lu Ming had been holding the purple copper coffin in his hand, and the lid of the coffin was not closed. Lu Ming stared at the disaster-avoiding ghost and did not run away. This time, would the mysterious and unfathomable aura from the purple copper coffin appear again? The result did not disappoint Lu Ming. When the disaster-avoiding ghost approached Lu Ming and Yi Ling, the aura from the purple copper coffin spread out again. After being hit by the aura, the disaster-avoiding ghost revealed a look of horror. Then, it turned and ran, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming and Yi Ling looked at each other and then burst out laughing at the same time. Awesome, this is awesome. This copper coffin can actually scare the disaster-avoiding ghost away. In this disaster-avoiding sea, we don't have to be afraid of the disaster-avoiding ghost anymore. Yi Ling laughed heartily. He was extremely happy. Let's hurry up and set off. Lu Ming said. Although the purple copper coffin could scare the disaster-avoiding ghost away, their crisis was not over yet. They were still in the disaster-avoiding sea. The black fog was still corroding them. As long as they were in the disaster-avoiding sea, they would be in danger. The two of them did not say much. They used their movement techniques and flew in the direction of the core area. They had to get to the core area as soon as possible. They could not hold on for much longer. Lu Ming closed the lid of the purple copper coffin again. However, he did not put it away. Instead, he held it in his hand and kept his guard up at all times. Soon, another 5 to 6 hours had passed. The two of them looked more and more terrible. Their energy had been severely depleted. However, they did not know how far they were from the core area. If this continued, they would not be able to hold on for much longer. Chapter 43-43. Luckily, they still had a lot of desolation pills. Before they left, each of them had paid 20,000 desolation pills. They had received 4 million desolation pills, 2 million for each person. They could absorb desolation pills to replenish their energy. However, Lu Ming needed at least 12 million desolation pills to break through from the 5th to the 6th layer of the Emperor Supreme God realm. 2 million desolation pills was not a lot. It might not be enough for them to cross the disaster-avoiding ocean. Therefore, they could only try to save as much as possible and increase their speed. They would not give up until the last step. A few hours passed in the blink of an eye. That's... The two of them squinted their eyes and looked ahead. There was a huge shadow in front of them. At first glance, they thought it was a mountain. However, after taking a closer look, it was not a mountain, but a tree. A gigantic tree. The tree's crown reached into the clouds, covering the sky and the sun. In the next moment, a trace of shock appeared on their faces, because they saw a shocking scene. On the branches of this tree, there were actually some ghosts that could avert disaster. Yes, disaster-avoiding ghosts. At a glance, there were at least a dozen disaster-avoiding ghosts on the branches. They seemed to be resting. However, this time, the disaster-avoiding ghosts seemed to have sensed something. They opened their eyes at the same time and looked at Lu Ming and the others coldly. In the next moment, the disaster-avoiding ghosts charged at Lu Ming at an extremely fast speed. Gotcha! Lu Ming did not hesitate and opened the purple copper coffin. Just like the previous encounter with the calamity-avoiding ghosts, a mysterious aura emanated from the purple copper coffin. More than 10 calamity-avoiding ghosts screamed and turned to run. They ran to the branches of the tree and lay down on the branches, trembling. The two of them heaved a sigh of relief. There seems to be some seeds on the tree. Yi Ling pointed at the tree. Lu Ming looked over. True enough, he saw some seeds hanging on the branches. The seeds were black and the size of a fist. They gave off a hazy glow and there were about 5 or 6 of them. The black fog from all directions gathered and was eventually absorbed by the black seeds. At this moment, one of the black seeds fell to the ground. When the black seed landed on the ground, it immediately took root and sprouted, growing into a small tree. Then the small tree grew quickly, and the surrounding black mist began to gather towards the small tree. That is, Lu Ming and Yi Ling's eyes widened. The reason for that was because, as the little tree grew, some of its branches actually had disaster-avoiding ghosts. In the beginning, the crossing disaster ghost was still relatively small. However, as the small tree rapidly grew, the crossing disaster ghost also became larger. The two of them looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Could it be that the ghost was born from this kind of tree? Soon, the small tree grew to a height of 100 meters, but it was still far from the big tree. At this moment, tree roots suddenly extended from the bottom of the big tree. More than a dozen roots, like a few long snakes, wrapped around the small tree, pulled it up by the roots, and pulled the small tree into the trunk of the big tree. The small tree quickly withered and finally merged into the roots of the big tree and disappeared. Lu Ming and Yi Ling realized that the big tree's glow seemed to be brighter. The two of them were dumbfounded. This big tree actually relied on devouring the small tree to improve itself. The seeds that it produced fell to the ground, sprouted rapidly, and grew rapidly. Before it was fully mature, it was devoured by the big tree. What was the principle behind this? The two of them were confused. At this moment, another seed fell to the ground. Just like before, the seed sprouted and grew rapidly. When it grew to about 100 meters, it was devoured by the big tree again. This seed is not to be underestimated. Not only can it grow rapidly, but it can also produce disaster-avoiding ghosts. If we can control it, it can become a powerful weapon. Lu Ming said, "You're right. If we enter the core area, this seed can also grow rapidly and can indeed become a powerful weapon. However, this tree is not to be underestimated," Yi Ling said. He had the same thought as Lu Ming. Lu Ming, since this seed can absorb the black mist here, if you can hold this seed, it might be able to isolate you from the black mist outside and prevent you from being corroded by the black mist. At this moment, the Bone Demon's voice sounded in Lu Ming's mind. Since entering the Grand Supreme Immortal City, the Bone Demon seemed to have been suppressed by the profound laws of the Grand Supreme Immortal City. It could only hide in Lu Ming's mind and could not come out. It has such an effect? Lu Ming's eyes flashed, and he seemed to be tempted. "Let's give it a try." Lu Ming whispered and finally decided to give it a try. He had the purple copper coffin, so he might be able to give it a try. Not to mention whether they could enter the core area. Even if they could, there were many experts in the core area. The strongest geniuses of the heavenly human tribe and the other powerful tribes had already entered the core area. There were also some young men in their prime who had cultivated for many years. Some of them had reached the 8th layer of the Divine God realm, and some had even reached the 9th layer of the Divine God realm. With their strength, even if they entered the core area, they would most likely be targeted and would not be able to gain a foothold. However, if they had this seed, they would have a powerful weapon. "Brother Yi, hold the fort for me." After saying that, Lu Ming dragged the purple copper coffin and rushed towards the crown of the tree. Now, there were a total of 3 seeds on the crown of the tree. Lu Ming rushed towards one of the seeds. However, just as Lu Ming approached the seed, tree roots extended from the bottom of the tree. They were like tentacles that swept towards Lu Ming. The tree roots waved and a strong wind whistled, bringing with it a thick black mist. Without hesitation, Lu Ming pushed the purple copper coffin open. That mysterious aura appeared again and spread out in all directions. The tree's roots came to a sudden stop upon being hit by this aura. They danced wildly on the spot, emitting a feeling of fear. This tree is indeed intelligent. It can feel fear. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He stepped forward and approached the tree roots with the purple copper coffin. The roots of the big tree danced crazily, and that feeling of fear became even more intense. Then, with a swish, it shrunk back. Lu Ming continued to rush towards the crown of the tree. On the branches, the evil spirits opened their eyes and stared at Lu Ming. They wanted to rush towards Lu Ming and kill Lu Ming. However, When they saw the purple copper coffin in Lu Ming's hand, they did not dare to do so. They could only watch. The next moment, Lu Ming approached one of the seeds. He waved his hand and a wave of energy swept out and plucked the seed. Chapter 43-44. After plucking the first seed, Lu Ming stored it in his storage ring and proceeded to pluck the second one. Soon, all 3 seeds were stored in Lu Ming's storage ring. The big tree struggled continuously. Its roots waved wildly as it struggled in a frenzy. It seemed to be extremely furious. The crossing disaster ghosts on the branches were also extremely irritable. They screamed continuously and stared coldly at Lu Ming. If they were not afraid of the purple copper coffin's aura, they would have pounced on Lu Ming and torn Lu Ming to pieces. However, with the suppression of the purple copper coffin, they did not dare to do so. After Lu Ming plucked the 3 seeds, he retreated to Yi Ling's side. "Bone Demon, how should I use it?" Lu Ming secretly asked Bone Demon. There was a thick black mist on the seeds. Even if they obtained them, they could not use them because the mist would harm them. "Drip a drop of blood on it and try," Bone Demon said. Lu Ming nodded. With a thought, a seed flew out of his storage ring. Lu Ming wrapped it with his forbidden power and suspended it in the air. The surrounding black fog was constantly gathering and being absorbed by the seed. Similarly, the black fog would also permeate the seed and constantly corrode the taboo power, causing Lu Ming's taboo power to be depleted rapidly. Lu Ming's expression changed. If he could not control the seed, holding it would increase the consumption of his power. Immediately, Lu Ming followed Bone Demon's suggestion. He squeezed out a drop of blood and flew it toward the seed. When the drop of blood approached the seed produced a suction force and absorbed the drop of blood. It entered the seed and merged with the seed. All of a sudden, Lu Ming had a strange feeling. It was as if the seed was already under his control. With a thought, the black fog on the surface of the seed vanished. It no longer corroded Lu Ming's forbidden energy. Moreover, the seed continued to absorb the black fog outside. Thus, the black fog around Lu Ming's body was absorbed, forming a vacuum around Lu Ming without any black fog. Lu Ming immediately felt the pressure lessen. The black fog was no longer a threat to him. It really works. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Yi Ling was also overjoyed. As long as the danger of the black fog was resolved, they would be able to move freely in the adversity-avoiding sea without any danger. "Yi Ling here." Lu Ming waved his hand and a seed flew towards Yi Ling. Yi Ling followed Lu Ming's instructions. First, he used his power to envelop the seed. Then, he squeezed out a drop of blood and flew it towards the seed. When the blood and the seed fused, Yi Ling controlled the seed. The black fog was no longer a threat to them. Then, Lu Ming used the same method to control the second seed. After that, the 2 of them used their movement techniques and continued to rush towards the core area. However, their state of mind was completely different from before. Previously, they had been under a lot of pressure. There was a strong sense of danger that constantly suppressed them. They had to keep moving forward and reach the core area as soon as possible. Otherwise, they would die. But now, although their speed was still very fast, they were very relaxed and didn't feel anxious at all. After that, they did not encounter any danger. Even if they encountered the adversity-avoiding ghost, it was scared away by the purple copper coffin. After a few days, they finally passed through the adversity-avoiding sea and arrived at a new land. The aura here was no different from the outer area. The only difference was that the desolation chi was much thicker. The desolation chi here is indeed much thicker than the outer area. Lu Ming sighed. This is just the ordinary area. The core area has ley lines. If we can find a ley line, the speed of condensing the desolation elixir will increase greatly. Yi Ling said. However, there is no black mist here like in the adversity-avoiding sea. I don't know if that seed will work. Lu Ming said. In the adversity-avoiding sea, they saw that the seed grew quickly and absorbed the black mist. However, the core area did not have that kind of black mist for them to absorb. Could the seed grow quickly? If the seed could not grow quickly, it would not be able to become their weapon of mass destruction. If they encountered the invincible powerhouses from the heavenly palace, Lu Ming and the rest would not be a match for them. Let's find a place to try it. Yiling said. That's the only way. Lu Ming nodded. Fortunately, they had 3 seeds in their hands. Even if they wasted one, it would not be a big deal. The 2 of them flew towards the depths of the core area at an extremely fast speed. Soon, the 2 of them arrived at a mountain kernel. Let's try it here. Lu Ming said. After that, Lu Ming took out a seed. With a wave of his hand, the seed flew towards the mountain col and landed on the ground. When the seed landed on the ground, it took root and sprouted at an astonishing speed. Then it grew rapidly. This is absorbing the black mist. Lu Ming and Yiling were shocked. They could clearly feel that there were wisps of black mist flying towards them from the void. They were absorbed by the seed and grew rapidly. They were already very far away from the adversity-avoiding sea. However, the seed could still absorb the black mist. The black mist seemed to have broken through the void. It was really amazing. The seed took root and sprouted, turning into a small tree. The small tree continued to grow rapidly at an astonishing speed. In less than a minute, the small tree became a towering tree. They could clearly see that there were more than 10 adversity-avoiding ghosts on the branches of the tree. They were lying on the branches and seemed to be in a deep sleep. Lu Ming, give it a try. See if you can control this big tree, Yiling said. Lu Ming nodded and focused his mind. The next moment, he felt a connection between his mind and the tree. Everything about the tree seemed to be under his control. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and he gave an order. Suddenly, the soil on the ground churned. The roots of the tree stretched out from the ground and waved like long snakes. They whipped the air and there were violent explosions. The power was terrifying. One of the roots lashed out at a nearby mountain peak, causing the mountain peak to explode. This is really amazing. Even a 9th-level Emperor God would not be able to withstand such an attack. Lu Ming thought to himself. He was very satisfied. Adversity-avoiding ghosts. With another thought, the more than 10 adversity-avoiding ghosts who were lying on the branches suddenly opened their eyes. There was a ferocious murderous intent in their eyes. They flew out from the branches and danced in the air. However, they did not fly towards Lu Ming and Yiling, because everything was under Lu Ming's control. Great! Yiling cheered from the side. Lu Ming also smiled. This seed was really a great weapon. Chapter 43-45. As long as this kind of seed was planted, it would quickly grow into a towering tree. Moreover, it would have an extremely shocking attack power. Moreover, the tree branches would give birth to evil spirits, which were the most terrifying. Once this tree was planted, the surrounding area would be completely under Lu Ming's control. If the people from the heavenly palace came, they would die. What a pity, we wasted a seed. We should have found the ley vein occupied by the heavenly palace and planted the seed there. That way, that ley vein would be under our control. Lu Ming sighed. Indeed, it was a mistake. Yiling also shook his head and sighed. With the effect of this seed, 1 seed could occupy an ley vein. 3 seeds could occupy 3 ley veins. Now, they had wasted a seed, which was equivalent to wasting an ley vein. They felt their hearts bleeding. It's all right. 2 ley veins are enough. Once our cultivation improves, why would we need to rely on this seed? Lu Ming smiled and quickly recovered. He was full of confidence. Now, he had lost because of his low cultivation. Once his cultivation improved, he would not be afraid of anyone. With his own strength, he could occupy other ley veins. Why would he need a seed? What they needed most was to establish a foothold in the beginning. With the seed, once they established a foothold in the beginning, there would be no problem. Let's go look for ley veins, Lu Ming said. Then, the 2 of them left to look for ley veins. In the core area, ley veins were not everywhere. In fact, there were not many ley veins. The ley veins in the core area were mainly divided into 2 levels, ordinary ley veins and advanced ley veins. Obviously, the concentration of desolation chi in the advanced ley veins was much higher than in the ordinary ley veins. Of course, the concentration of desolation chi in the ordinary ley veins was also much higher than in the outer area. Lu Ming and the rest had entered the core area relatively late. He reckoned that most of the Earth meridians had been occupied by others. Some people had entered the core area for a few years. No one knew what level their cultivation had reached. No matter what level their cultivation had reached, what Lu Ming needed to do now was to occupy the ley veins, condense desolation pills, and catch up with their cultivation. The core region was extremely vast, even larger than the outer regions. After searching for half a day, they finally found an earth vein. Up ahead, a mountain range stretched across the land. From afar, it looked like a huge dragon. Mist filled the air above the mountain range. That was clearly the dense, desolate chi that could not be dispersed. What a dense, desolate chi! Let's go! Yi Ling's eyes lit up as the two of them flew towards the mountain range. Soon, the two of them approached the mountain range. Who is it? This is the territory of my Sun clan, you two should leave. Several voices came from the mountain range. Then, several figures shot up into the sky and stood in front of Lu Ming and Yi Ling. There were more than 20 people in total, and all of them wore long golden robes. A layer of golden flames danced on their bodies, giving off a scorching aura. So it's people from the Sun clan. The two of them were startled. The solar race was ranked 31st on the Great Desolate 10,000 Races ranking. It could be considered a strong race. However, it was naturally much weaker than the top 10 races. Lu Ming and Yi Ling did not feel much pressure. This is the territory of your Sun clan? Isn't that ridiculous? The Taishang Immortal City is an ownerless place. Anyone can come here. Now, we're going to refine the desolate pills on this mountain range. Everyone, please make way. Lu Ming said. Our Sun clan has occupied it first, so it's our territory. You two should leave. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. A muscular man from the Sun clan said coldly. Lu Ming glanced at them. There were more than 20 people from the Sun clan. 5 of them were younger while the rest were in their prime. Among them, many of them had reached the 6th layer of the Emperor God realm. 2 of them had even reached the 7th layer of the Emperor God realm. The Sun clan had such high cultivations among their prime. It was evident that these people had gained a lot from this place. We're going to meditate on this mountain range. Yi Ling said. You're courting death. A muscular man from the Sun clan shouted coldly. Why are you wasting your breath on them? These 2 brats don't know what's good for them. Just kill them. That's right. Kill them. The people from the Sun clan were enraged. Each of them was filled with cold, murderous intent. They were like suns, emitting a scorching aura. Boom, boom, boom. These people moved. They were like suns, charging towards Lu Ming and the others. Clang. Yi Ling moved. He unsheathed his sword and the sword light shone brightly. A few rays of sword light slashed towards the suns. Several suns were directly split in half by the sword light, and the people inside were also directly killed. Among them, there was a 7th layer of the Emperor God realm. Even though the strong man of the 7th Great Supreme God layer from the Sun clan was 1 level higher than Yi Ling, his fighting strength hadn't reached 6 stars yet, it was only 3 stars. Yi Ling's battle strength was close to 10 stars. The difference was too great. The Sun clan was not the Heavenly Human clan. The muscular men from the Heavenly Human clan that Lu Ming and the others had encountered previously had battle strengths of 5 stars, 6 stars, or even 7 stars. The young geniuses were even more terrifying. Some of them even had battle strength of 8 stars. However, they were from the Heavenly Human clan. The Sun clan was not even close to the top 10 clans, let alone the Heavenly Human clan. In the Sun clan, there were very few people who had battle strength of 4 stars. How could these people be a match for Lu Ming and Yi Ling when their cultivation was not much higher? When Yi Ling attacked, Lu Ming attacked as well. Spear light burst forth, and the suns were extinguished one by one. In just a few breaths, only 2 of the 20 Sun clan members were left. The rest were all killed. Oh no, let's leave. Let's go. There were still some people from the Sun clan in the mountain range. They had not attacked previously. Instead, they were guarding the pill furnaces and refining the desolate pills. "Leave the pill furnaces before you go," Yiling said coldly. He turned into a ray of sword light and rushed over. The people guarding the pill furnaces were not even as strong as the previous batch. They were no match for Yiling. After a few of them were killed, the others were terrified. They threw out their pill furnaces and ran for their lives. Soon, Yiling flew over with a smile on his face. "Not bad. There are 30 pill furnaces with a diameter of 1 meter. Unfortunately, there are no large pill furnaces with a diameter of 3 meters. Yiling said. "Not bad." Lu Ming also smiled. The majority of the pill furnaces were definitely in the hands of the Heavenly Human Clan or the top 10 clans. It was already a very good harvest for the Sun Clan to be able to obtain 30 pill furnaces. The two of them split it equally. Each of them had 15 pill furnaces. "The two of you, tell me about the current situation in the core area. Tell me everything you know," Lu Ming asked coldly as he looked at the two young men from the Sun Clan. Chapter 43-46. The two young men of the Sun Tribe did not dare to hide anything. They immediately told Qin Nen everything they knew. Besides, it was not a big secret. There was nothing to hide. According to the two young men from the Sun Tribe, Lu Ming and Yiling had a rough understanding of the core area. There were a total of 96 earth veins in the vast land of the core area. There were 73 ordinary earth veins and 23 advanced earth veins. Each of the top 10 races occupied a high-grade earth vein. The Heavenly Human Tribe occupied a total of 13 high-grade earth veins. As for the other smaller tribes, they occupied the ordinary earth veins. Of course, there were also people from the smaller tribes who entered, but they were not strong enough to occupy the earth veins. Almost all the advanced earth veins have been occupied. However, did the Heaven Destroyer not occupy a single advanced earth vein? Lu Ming pondered. Perhaps the people of the Sky Exterminating Army had secretly occupied some small earth veins. Or perhaps, the people of the Heavenly Extermination Army in this astral palace were not strong enough. The second level of the Taishang Immortal City was divided into 36 astral palaces, which meant that it was divided into 36 different areas. When everyone entered the Taishang Immortal City, they would be automatically assigned to one of the 36 astral palaces. Naturally, some astral palaces would be stronger, while others would be weaker. Perhaps the members of the Heaven Exterminating Army in this star palace were weaker. "We have a simple map here. I'll give it to you now. Please let us go," a young man from the Sun Tribe said. Then, he took out a jade talisman and handed it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming took the jade talisman and inserted a strand of energy. The jade talisman immediately lit up and a map appeared in the air. On this map, there were lines and dots of light. There were a total of 96 light spots. Among them, 23 were the brightest. Obviously, these light spots represented the earth veins. 23 light spots represented 23 advanced earth veins. Furthermore, there were words on every single dot of light, indicating which race it was occupied by. It was clear at a glance. This would be very helpful for Lu Ming and the others. "Can we go now?" The two Sun race members looked at Lu Ming with hopeful eyes. Lu Ming casually waved his hand. The two Sun race youths were overjoyed and flew away. However, a few sword lights flashed, and the two Sun race youths' vital signs disappeared. Their corpses fell into the mountain range. Lu Ming was expressionless, as if he had expected this. "Let's see how fast this ordinary earth vein can condense the great desolate pill," Lu Ming said. After that, the two of them landed in the middle of the mountain range and chose a relatively good location. They took out a few pill furnaces with a diameter of 1 meter and began to activate them to refine pills. A day later, they had a rough idea of what was going on. 240. In one day, a low-grade pill furnace could refine 2 batches of great desolate pills. Each batch contained 120 pills, for a total of 240 pills. This speed was 10 times faster than in the outer regions. Lu Ming and Yiling's eyes were extremely bright. Even their breathing became heavy. 10 times the speed. This was too shocking. This was just an ordinary earth vein. How fast would those high-grade earth veins condense the great desolate pill? Let's occupy a high-grade earth vein first. The two of them looked at each other and had the same idea. They did not plan to stay in this ordinary earth vein for long. Instead, they planned to occupy a high-grade earth vein. With the black seed, anything was possible. Without the seed, they could only wait in this ordinary earth vein. They might even be hunted down by the elites of the heavenly palace. Now, they were full of ambition and had no fear. The nearest high-grade earth vein is occupied by the heavenly human tribe. Let's choose this earth vein, Lu Ming said. Yi Ling naturally had no objections. Then, the two of them set off and flew toward the nearest earth vein. This place was not too far away from the high-grade earth vein. In less than a day, the two of them arrived. It was a huge mountain range. It was 10 times bigger than the previous one. Dense fog filled the air. It was like a fairyland. Even from afar, he could feel an ancient aura surging toward him. A high-grade earth vein is indeed extraordinary. Lu Ming and Yi Ling's eyes lit up. Without hesitation, they stepped into the air and flew toward the center of the mountain range. The mountain range was continuous. The two sides were slightly shorter. The center was the highest. Obviously, it was also the place with the densest desolate aura. Heavenly human tribe, I'll give you 3 breaths time to get lost. Otherwise, you'll be killed. Before the two of them got close, a cold voice came from the mountain range. Heavenly human tribe? Very well, I'll give you 5 minutes to get lost. Otherwise, you'll be killed. Lu Ming replied. His voice spread throughout the mountain range. In the mountain range, all the heavenly human tribe members heard it. Where did this idiot come from? He's courting death. How dare he? Kill him. His entire family should be executed. In the mountain range, voices filled with killing intent came out. Go and see which blind thing came from. Bring his head to me. In the mountain range, a heavenly human tribe member passed down the order. Someone accepted the order. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At least 10 figures broke through the air and flew toward Lu Ming and Yi Ling. In front of Lu Ming and Yi Ling, more than 10 figures appeared. They were all heavenly human tribe members. When these heavenly human tribe members saw Lu Ming and Yi Ling, some of them could not help but widen their eyes. Mu Yun, it's Mu Yun! Someone yelled. Among the many people, a few of them had chased after Lu Ming in the Adversity Crossing flying boat in the Adversity Crossing Sea. They recognized Lu Ming immediately. What? He actually dares to come to us? In the mountain range, the remaining heavenly human tribe members were shocked. Many heavenly human tribe members who were too lazy to make a move put down what they were doing and flew into the sky. Everyone wanted to kill Lu Ming. As long as they killed him, they would have a meteoric rise in the future. Even those who were at the critical moment of breaking through stopped cultivating and rushed toward Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Let's go. At this moment, Lu Ming and Yi Ling rushed to the side and to a corner of the mountain range. Don't let him escape. Chase. At first, more than 10 heavenly human tribe members chased after Lu Ming. Behind them, there was a group of people who were all heavenly human tribe members. There were more than 100 of them. Lu Ming and Yi Ling could not be bothered. They sped up and rushed toward the mountain range. They were not far from the mountain range. In a few flashes, they arrived. Once they reached the mountain range, Lu Ming waved his hand and a black seed flew out and landed in the mountain range. Once the black seed landed in the mountain range, it took root and sprouted, growing rapidly. Chapter 43-47. The black seed began to grow rapidly. Soon, it grew into a towering tree. Lu Ming and Yi Ling dashed to the bottom of the big tree. They turned around and looked coldly at the heavenly human clan experts who were dashing toward them. The strong cultivators of the heavenly human tribe were astonished when they saw the tree. They were even more astonished when they saw the disaster-avoiding ghosts on the tree. Lu Ming said coldly. All of a sudden, The dozen or so crossing disaster ghosts on the tree branches opened their eyes and charged toward the heavenly human tribe experts. I don't believe it. Are they really disaster-avoiding ghosts? How can disaster-avoiding ghosts appear here? They're just illusions. Destroy them. The experts of the celestial race shouted coldly. They erupted with powerful auras and unleashed killing moves. All sorts of attacks bombarded the crossing disaster ghost. However, when the attacks landed on the disaster-avoiding ghosts, they only made the disaster-avoiding ghosts tremble. Then, they continued attacking the strong cultivators of the heavenly human tribe as if nothing had happened. "Oh no!" shouted the strong cultivators of the heavenly human tribe. They wanted to retreat, but it was too late. One of the disaster-avoiding ghosts rushed into the body of a strong cultivator of the heavenly human tribe. The strong cultivator of the heavenly human tribe gave a horrible shriek and his face became distorted. What was even more terrifying was that his body rapidly shriveled and soon turned into a dried corpse without any sign of life as it fell to the ground. The strong cultivator of the heavenly human tribe wasn't the only one. The other strong cultivators of the heavenly human tribe were the same. Their attacks were useless against the disaster-avoiding ghosts. The disaster-avoiding ghosts rushed into their bodies and turned them into mummies. Then the disaster-avoiding ghost rushed out of their bodies, and its size seemed to have increased by a size. The strongest cultivator of the heavenly human tribe was at the seventh great supreme god layer. In a flash, they were all killed. None of them were left alive. The strong cultivators of the heavenly human tribe were astonished. It's the disaster-avoiding ghosts. It's really the disaster-avoiding ghosts. Why are there disaster-avoiding ghosts here? This is the core area. It's that tree. There's something wrong with that tree, shouted the strong cultivators of the heavenly human tribe. They slowed down and stopped in the distance. They looked at the disaster-avoiding ghosts cautiously. What should we do? A celestial asked. Mu Yun, don't let them go. Although these disaster-avoiding ghosts are powerful, this is not the disaster-avoiding ocean. I don't believe that they are as terrifying as the ones in the disaster-avoiding ocean. That's right, there's no black mist here. The strength of the crossing disaster ghosts should be limited. With so many of us, we should be able to defeat these crossing disaster ghosts. A few of the most fearsome heavenly human tribe warriors spoke one after another. Those strong men from the heavenly human tribe were extremely strong. They had all reached the 9th great supreme god layer. 2 of the heavenly human tribe's brawny men were especially shocked. The 2 brawny men of the heavenly human tribe had participated in the hunt for Lu Ming and Yi Ling in the adversity-avoiding ocean. They clearly remembered that they had taken a part of Lu Ming and Yi Ling's crossing adversity airship. Furthermore, in order to fight against the crossing adversity ghost, Lu Ming and Yi Ling had thrown out the remaining parts of the crossing adversity airship. If one didn't have a calamity-traversing airship in the calamity-traversing ocean, wouldn't it only lead to death? Why were Lu Ming and Yi Ling still alive, and why did they obtain such a terrifying tree? They couldn't figure it out. These 2 guys are too strange. We have to get rid of them. Let's attack together and kill this kid. One of the brawny men from the heavenly human tribe who had participated in the hunt for Lu Ming shouted. Attack together. Kill. There were at least 100 heavenly human tribe warriors there. Some were young and some were in their prime. Of course, most of them were in their prime and their strength was shocking. Boom, boom, boom. The heavenly human tribe warriors were like erupting volcanoes. Terrifying auras burst out from them and they charged towards Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Kill. Lu Ming gave the order to the dozen or so crossing ghosts. The crossing disaster ghosts let out ear-piercing screams and charged towards the heavenly human tribe warriors. Kill. Over 100 heavenly human tribe cultivators roared as they unleashed over 100 attacks toward the dozen or so evil spirits. This time, the heavenly human tribe warriors' attacks were even more terrifying. Most importantly, they were too strong. More than half of them were above the 7th layer of the Great Supreme God Realm. There were also many 8th layer of the Great Supreme God Realm. There were even 5 9th layer of the Great Supreme God Realm warriors. The combination of these forces was simply too powerful. Over 100 attacks landed on the crossing disaster ghosts. The crossing disaster ghosts trembled violently and their bodies kept twisting. However, in the end, the heavenly human tribe warriors' attacks did not destroy the crossing disaster ghosts. The crossing disaster ghosts broke through the heavenly human tribe's attacks and continued to attack the heavenly human tribe warriors. The heavenly human tribe warriors' faces changed drastically. Some of the more timid ones involuntarily stepped back. Use the ultimate heavenly energy. A brawny heavenly human tribe warrior shouted. Heavenly punishment. Heavenly punishment. Among the 100 heavenly human tribe warriors, there were only a dozen of them who had truly mastered the ultimate heavenly energy. However, the ultimate heavenly energy was not to be underestimated. The Heavenly Punishment Force, and other supreme heavenly powers formed different types of attacks and once again blasted towards the dozen or so tribulation-avoiding ghosts. This time, the crossing disaster ghost's body trembled even more violently. Its body was actually blocked and it couldn't rush over. It's working. The heavenly human tribe warriors' eyes lit up. The ultimate heavenly energy could block the crossing disaster ghosts. This made them overjoyed. Lu Ming and Yi Ling's expressions changed slightly. It seems that this is not the crossing disaster ocean after all. Moreover, these crossing disaster ghosts have just been born. There is still a huge gap between their strength and the crossing disaster ghosts in the crossing disaster ocean. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Yi Ling. Yi Ling nodded. Their strength is indeed much weaker. However, they seem to be able to grow. It should be enough to deal with these heavenly human tribe warriors. Lu Ming continued to control the crossing disaster ghosts to attack the heavenly human tribe warriors. Those who control the power of the paramount heavens, stop the calamity crossing ghosts. The rest of you, go kill Mu Yun. Also, cut down that tree. My guess is that once that tree is dead, the calamity crossing ghosts will vanish. A young man from the heavenly human tribe said. This person was extremely handsome. He was young and belonged to the younger generation. However, his cultivation level had reached the 8th layer of the great god realm. He was definitely a peerless genius of the heavenly human tribe. He had great prestige. Many strong men from the heavenly human tribe seemed to obey his orders. Immediately, the heavenly human tribe warriors followed the young man's instructions. Under the young man's lead, they used the ultimate heavenly energy to attack the crossing disaster ghosts and block them. As for the other heavenly human tribe warriors, they went around the crossing disaster ghosts from the other side and charged towards Lu Ming and Yi Ling. Mu Yun, die. Kill. The eyes of the heavenly human tribe members were filled with greed. One by one, they launched attacks at Lu Ming. Chapter 43-48. Lu Ming and Yi Ling remained calm in the face of the attacks from the heavenly human tribe. They had no intention of fighting back. When the attacks came close to Lu Ming and Yi Ling, the tree moved. Roots that were thicker than a person's waist extended from the tree's roots. They were like long snakes that swept toward the heavenly human tribe. The roots were extremely powerful. Some of the weaker heavenly human tribe members were hit by the roots. They screamed and their bodies exploded. Then their flesh and blood were all absorbed by the roots. Even the stronger ones, such as those at the 8th or 9th level of the great god realm, were sent flying by the roots and vomited blood. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. There were at least a dozen roots. Each of them was more than 1,000 miles long. They danced in the air and attacked crazily. In an instant, at least 30 heavenly human tribe members were killed by the roots. Their flesh and blood were absorbed by the roots. After absorbing the flesh and blood of the heavenly human tribe members, the tree seemed to have become more luxuriant and taller. Its roots also became thicker and more powerful. The dozens of roots grew longer and swept toward the remaining heavenly human tribe members. Damn it! Back off! The heavenly human tribe members were shocked and quickly retreated. As they retreated, they attacked the roots and tried to cut them off. However, when these attacks landed on the roots, they only emitted clang 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 sounds of metal colliding. They only left marks on the roots but did not cut through them. The dozens of roots continued to attack the heavenly human tribe members. Another dozen heavenly human tribe members were caught off guard and were swept away by the roots. They were killed instantly and their flesh and blood were absorbed by the roots. The remaining 50 heavenly human tribe members were terrified. They did not dare to stay any longer and quickly retreated. You want to retreat? Disaster-avoiding ghosts, come back. Lu Ming thought. The calamity-avoiding ghosts, who had been battling the dozen or so heavenly humans who had mastered the supreme power of the heavens, suddenly turned around and charged toward the retreating heavenly humans. The disaster-avoiding ghosts and the roots attacked from two sides. The heavenly human tribe members could not escape and they inevitably bumped into each other. Instantly, more than a dozen heavenly human tribe experts had their bodies invaded by more than a dozen disaster-avoiding ghosts. These heavenly human tribe elites let out blood-curdling screams. Under the horrified gazes of the other heavenly human tribe elites, they quickly shriveled up and turned into dried corpses. Their essence, chi, and soul had all been devoured. This time, many of them had the strength of the 8th Great Supreme God Layer, and the others had the strength of the 7th Great Supreme God Layer. After devouring these experts, the bodies of the dozen or so calamity-overcoming ghosts became significantly more corporeal and larger. Their auras became even more sinister and frightening. They were at least twice as strong as before. Creak, creak, creak. These disaster-avoiding ghosts screamed, and their gazes became even more ferocious as they stared at the other heavenly humans. The remaining heavenly humans felt chills run down their spines and cold sweat trickled down their backs. They no longer had the heart to continue fighting and fled in all directions. If that was the case, they would be even more unable to block the pincer attack of the tree roots and the disaster-avoiding ghost. These Celestial Clan experts fell one after another. Even if the 10 experts with the strongest heavenly powers went all out to defend, it was useless. The Celestials were killed one by one, and they were all turned into nutrients for the tree, making it stronger and stronger. Retreat, retreat, shouted the young genius of the Celestial Clan in the end. He chose to retreat. Lu Ming, of course, wouldn't let these Celestial Clan experts retreat. He controlled the tree and its roots extended to 10,000 miles. At the same time, the dozen or so disaster-avoiding ghosts chased after the Celestial Clan experts. In the end, the Celestial Clan experts paid a heavy price and escaped from the mountain range. But it was too tragic. Originally, there had been more than 100 Celestial Clan experts in the mountain range. But in the end, only 7 of them had survived. Even a strong man of the heavenly human clan who had the strength of the 9th Great Supreme God Layer was careless. He was surrounded by a few ghosts and was killed. That young genius of the Celestial Clan took the other 6 Celestial Clan experts and ran very far away. They only stopped when the disaster-avoiding ghosts stopped chasing them. Damn it, Mu Yun! Roared the Celestial Clan expert. The heaven's favorite of the Celestial tribe growled. His face was twisted with anger and was extremely ferocious. Their losses were too great. This time, they had suffered too great a loss. The Celestial Clan was divided into many branches, and the competition between them was great. They had to compete for power and resources, etc. He was the leader of this high-grade earth vein, which meant that his branch had occupied it. The other Celestial Clan experts were his subordinates. But now they were all dead. It was too great a loss for him. Young Master Yichu Haohan, what should we do now? Asked a strong man. The young man's name was Yichu Haohan. What should we do? Of course, we have to take revenge. Mu Yun, I will skin him alive and pull out his tendons. Now, let's leave this place and find other experts to kill this brat together. Yichu Haohan roared. His killing intent was extremely strong. After saying that, he turned around and left with the other 6 Celestial Clan experts. On the mountain range, Lu Ming and Yi Ling watched Yichu Haohan and the others leave. It's a pity that this is not the disaster-avoiding sea. The disaster-avoiding ghosts are greatly restricted, Lu Ming sighed. Of course, he would not let Yichu Haohan and the others go easily. Unfortunately, he found that the disaster-avoiding ghosts could not be too far away from the tree. If they were too far away from the tree, their strength would decrease greatly. Obviously, they would still be greatly affected if they were not in the disaster-avoiding sea. The Celestial Clan will probably retaliate soon. Let's seize the time to condense the desolation pills and cultivate. Yi Ling said. Alright, let's count our gains first. Lu Ming said. This time, they had killed more than 100 Celestial Clan experts and obtained their storage rings. The two of them were looking forward to it. Would there be no pill furnaces and desolation pills in the storage rings of these Celestial Clan experts? The two of them came to the bottom of the tree, took out all the storage rings, and began to count them. After counting, the two of them smiled. It was a big gain. It was really a big gain. Among the rings of holding, there were about 12 million desolation pills. After splitting the spoils, the two of them each had about 6 million desolation pills. In addition, the two of them had some left before, so they had a lot of desolation pills. In addition, there were 200 pill furnaces. Most of them were pill furnaces with a diameter of 1 meter, but there were 10 pill furnaces with a diameter of 3 meters. The two of them divided it equally, so each of them had 100 pill furnaces. Lu Ming's heart was beating faster. After all, he had worked so hard and only had a total of 75 pill furnaces. Among them, there were only 5 pill furnaces with a diameter of 3 meters. With these 100 pill furnaces, the total number of pill furnaces was 175. Among them, there were 10 pill furnaces with a diameter of 3 meters. Yi Ling probably had even more pill furnaces. It's a pity that Yi Chu Haohan escaped. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Chapter 43-49. Yi Chu Haohan was the leader of the heavenly human tribe. Most of the pill furnaces must be in his hands. As for the others, they probably only had a small portion. This was only a small portion of the pill furnaces, yet there were already 200 of them. Yi Chu Haohan must have even more pill furnaces. If they could kill him, they would be rich. It was a pity that the other party had escaped. As long as the other party left the range of the calamity-avoiding ghost, Lu Ming could not do anything to them. His and Yi Ling's actual combat power was still a far cry from that of the heavenly humans. Based on their actual combat power, they would definitely be killed in seconds. The two of them came to the bottom of the tree and started refining the desolation pills without stopping. Lu Ming chose a flat area to sit down on. With a wave of his hand, 175 pill furnaces flew out and landed on the ground. Swoosh, swoosh. Lu Ming waved his hand and streaks of forbidden energy flew into the pill furnaces. Buzz. The pill furnaces vibrated and runes appeared on them. The desolation chi between heaven and earth quickly gathered towards the pill furnaces. The desolation chi here was too dense. When it gathered towards the pill furnaces, it was like a tornado was blowing. After activating all 175 pill furnaces, Lu Ming did not bother about them anymore. He started to comprehend the normal secret skills. Half a day later, the 175 pill furnaces started to vibrate. Then, desolation pills flew out like raindrops. There were too many of them. They were densely packed and flew out of the pill furnaces continuously, filling the entire sky. So many, even Lu Ming took a deep breath. Then, he grabbed the air and a strong suction force was produced. All the desolation pills gathered towards Lu Ming's palm. Lu Ming scanned with his spiritual consciousness and calculated the exact number of desolation pills. 159,000. In just half a day, he had refined a single furnace of pills and the number of pills had reached 159,000. This speed was extremely shocking and terrifying. At the same time, Lu Ming also calculated the number of pills produced by the pill furnaces with a diameter of 1 meter and 3 meters. A pill furnace with a diameter of 1 meter could refine 600 desolation pills in one furnace. In the outer region, a pill furnace with a diameter of 1 meter could only refine 12 desolation pills in one furnace. Previously, Lu Ming and the others had tried refining 120 desolation pills in one furnace on an ordinary earth vein. But here, 600 desolation pills in one furnace was 5 times more than an ordinary earth vein. A pill furnace with a diameter of 3 meters could refine 6,000 desolation pills in one furnace. No wonder the heavenly human tribe and the top 10 tribes had occupied the high-level earth veins. They're refining desolation pills. If I want to break through from the 5th to the 6th great supreme god layer, I need 12 million desolate pills. At this speed, I'll need 40 days to refine them. Lu thought. Then he put the hundreds of thousands of desolation pills into his storage ring and continued to refine desolation pills into the furnace. Just like that, Lu Ming refined elixirs while comprehending the secret skill. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. In 10 days, Lu Ming had refined more than 3 million desolation pills. In addition to the 8 million desolation pills he had before, he now had more than 10 million desolation pills. He was not far from 12 million desolation pills. Boom! At this moment, a powerful aura came from about 1,000 miles away from Lu Ming. A sword light could be vaguely seen soaring into the sky. Yi Ling is about to break through. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. This aura was clearly Yi Ling's. It seemed that Yi Ling had finally collected enough desolation pills to break through. Yi Ling had accumulated a lot of desolation pills in the outer region. After working with Lu Ming, the two of them had more than 8 million desolation pills. In addition to the refining during this period, Yi Ling definitely had more than 20 million desolation pills. Yi Ling's cultivation was higher than Lu Ming's. He was in the 6th layer of the Great Supreme God Realm. To break through to the 7th layer of the Great Supreme God Realm, he would need a lot of desolation pills. He needed more than Lu Ming to break through to the 6th layer of the Great Supreme God Realm. After all, Yi Ling was also a peerless genius. The power he controlled was not to be underestimated. Although it was far from taboo power, he still needed more energy than ordinary people to break through. Yi Ling's aura continued to soar. When it reached a peak, it slowly decreased. Lu Ming knew that Yi Ling had reached the 7th layer of the Great Supreme God Realm and stabilized. Lu Ming smiled. After all, he and Yi Ling were in a cooperative relationship. Furthermore, along the way, they had experienced life and death situations. He still trusted Yi Ling's character. The stronger Yi Ling was, the better it would be for him. Yi Ling had broken through to the 7th layer of the Great Supreme God Realm. In addition, his battle strength was close to 10 stars. He would be a great help. I have almost enough desolation pills. Continue. Lu Ming collected his thoughts and controlled the cauldron to continue refining desolation pills. At this moment, Lu Ming's eyes flashed as he looked into the distance. In the distance, there were streaks of light rushing over at an astonishing speed. At a glance, there were at least a few hundred streaks of light. The people of the heavenly human tribe are indeed here. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. 1,000 miles away, Yi Ling soared into the sky and stood in the air, looking into the distance. Soon, the streaks of light converged and stopped. A few hundred figures appeared in the air. Most of them were experts of the heavenly human tribe. However, there were also some other tribes, such as the Angel tribe, the Demon tribe, the Buddha tribe, the Blood tribe, and the Soul tribe. They were all from the top 10 tribes. The total number was more than 500. Mu Yun is in this earth vein. Do you see that tree? A young man stepped out from the heavenly human tribe and pointed at the tree that Lu Ming had planted with a seed. This young man was Yi Chu Haohan. Is this tree really so terrifying that it killed more than 100 of your people? Another prodigy of the heavenly human tribe said with a puzzled look. This prodigy of the heavenly human tribe was also a terrifying existence. His status in the heavenly human tribe was not inferior to Yi Chu Haohan. He led a group of people and occupied another high-level earth vein. This time, he was called out by Yi Chu Haohan. Of course, it was also because he was greedy and killed Mu Yun. Don't underestimate a tree. This tree should be related to the disaster-avoiding sea. The attack power of its roots is extremely terrifying. The most terrifying thing is that there are more than a dozen disaster-avoiding ghosts living on it. Yi Chu Haohan explained. What? Disaster-avoiding ghosts? And there are more than a dozen of them? Everyone's expression changed drastically. revealing a look of horror. They knew how terrifying the disaster-avoiding ghosts were. It was not something that divine emperors could resist. Facing the disaster-avoiding ghosts, they would only die. Everyone, don't be too afraid. After all, this isn't the Calamity Crossing Ocean. The Calamity Crossing ghost is greatly restricted here. Its strength isn't too strong. Previously, we were able to block its attack with the utmost heaven energy. Moreover, it seems like the Calamity Crossing ghost can't go too far away from the tree. As long as we can cut down the tree, the Calamity Crossing ghost will disappear on its own. Yi Chu Haohan said, "You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.